Spread your love. And hear what I'm saying now. Spread your love. And hear what I'm saying now. Spread your love. Spread your love. And hear what I'm saying now. Spread your love. And hear what I'm saying now. Spread your love. Spread your love. Spread your love. Spread your love.
Good morning, South Africa. Welcome to Eat Thursday. Welcome to another Thursday Konalago Vooka Breakfast Show. It's quarter to weekend, and I hope you guys are feeling fantastic and that you also got your weekend plans already lined up. Now, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Because I want to go today, temperature, but obviously I am not here alone. And before I introduce my amazing, handsome brother, obviously I go by the name of Afriberry, also known as Miss Berry Blaze. But to the darker the berry, the sweeter than Dun Dun. How are you doing, Mr. Max, for
man.
maximum temperature?
I'm very good, man. I'm very good. I'm so happy to be here this morning. You know, interesting and epic mornings is what we bring you right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. And you know that we've got a jam-packed show for you. And thank you so much, man, for asking. It is a cold morning, but it inspires us to keep, warm on this cold weather. And let me ask, man, how are you doing this morning?
Now I'm doing fantastic, hey. You see, I was busy there doing the boogie, just getting myself into my feels, because I can get quarter weekend, I get.
Course.
But otherwise, I'm doing fantastic, hey.
Yeah.
So I see you got a beautiful and amazing picture there right behind you.
Yeah.
Would you mind to at least tell me more about the picture of the day that you currently have there?
Yeah, man. Speaking of picture of the day, you know that we are dedicated into making sure that you guys travel South Africa and have to explore what it offers. So you need to make sure that you get your list out there, your notebook, whether it's your phone, write down those beautiful attraction and destination that South Africa has to offer, right? So what you're gonna do right now is to tick some of those lists in your bucket list to get you ready with traveling. So you're asking yourself, what are you seeing behind me? Those are beautiful scenic pictures. Today we are going to be going through the Bolivia Lodge. Bolivia Lodge is a 3-star convention center and lodge located in Polokwane, Limpopo, right here in South Africa. It offers 106 en-suite rooms ranging from luxury to budget options, along with 15 function venues for conferences, events, and weddings. You might be asking yourself, what are the key features? So, in terms of location, conveniently situated near the Mall of the North, Polokwane International Airport, and Polokwane CBD. In terms of accommodation, it can host up to 230 guests with luxury, standard, and budget rooms available. And when you go to events and conferences, it is equipped for corporate events, weddings, and private functions with award-winning facilities. And going to amenities, it includes outdoor pool, restaurant, bar, and a mini spa offering massage and reflexology for people who are tired and would like to get those massages. And when it comes to ratings, man, guests have rated it a 3.6 over 5 on TripAdvisor and 8.2 over 10 on Booking.com, praising its peaceful atmosphere and service, man. So, as you're hearing about it, man, would you love to go there to the Bolivia Lodge in Polokwane, Friperi?
Yes, I want to, because someone said they were there for a conference last month. Super convenient and really peaceful.
Yeah, man, right. I love how it's close to everything. Airport, Mall of the North, CBD, you name them all.
And the rooms, oh my gosh, they've got options for every budget. Plus, mini spa is a hidden gem, hey?
Yeah, man, definitely. It is a solid pick for events or just a relaxing stay for you to enjoy the moment and the atmosphere it has to offer.
Now, guess what? So if you're heading to Polokwane, Bolivia Lodge is a smart choice that you'll definitely never go wrong on.
Yeah, you must be asking yourself, should you head over there? Yes, head over there and enjoy the Bolivia Lodge and come back to share your experience with us. We are committed to search every corner of South Africa on what it has to offer. So all you need to do is to visit their website and go there, visit, take some pictures and share them with us right here. Connect with us on all social media platforms. We are Vooka Breakfast Show, and right now we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and also TikTok. So do not forget to use those hashtags. That is all for our picture of the day. I hope you enjoyed that and it was informative, and you're looking forward to pack your bags and hit the road with your family and friends. So getting back to what we call, dose of positivity in this morning. Berry, can you please take us through on what today we have?
Obviously, we have our daily bread, which is obviously today in history, celebrity birthdays, word of the day, and not forgetting how many days, including weeks, we have left towards the end of the year, and how many days we have left towards the end of the year, including how many days we are exactly into the year. And today we also have two fantastic and amazing guests. We have Malcolm Moy coming through for an amazing interview. Now, I hope you guys are also going to stay tuned for that one. Not forgetting Dr. Katisha Jani, who's also a general practitioner, and she'll be coming through for an interview. Now, guys, be sure to stay tuned. Don't go anywhere because we have a jam-packed show just lined up for you. Right now, we're going to head over for the weather. And then after that, it's obviously the news, sports, and traffic update.
All right, once again, a very good morning. Starting off with your news headline. On our first headline, calls to properly vet scholar transport drivers. The Gauteng Department of Education has promised to tighten the screening process for school transport drivers. The DA has criticized the department for not conducting thorough background checks on more than 3,000 drivers, putting the safety and well-being of students at risk. Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona says they are hopeful the process to vet scholar transport will be done by the end of June. Heading over to your next headline, President ordered to explain signing of NHI into law. President Cyril Ramaphosa now has 10 days to provide the Gauteng High Court with his record of decision-making related to the signing of the National Health Insurance Act into law. He did this 2 weeks before last year's election despite widespread opposition to the NHI. The court has now allowed the Board of Healthcare Funders and South African Private Practitioners Forum to contest the signing of the legislation. On the next headline, more South Africans are embracing stokvels. A growing number of South Africans are discovering that saving money in groups can work better than trying to do it alone. This is according to FNB's latest stokvel data. Stokvels account deposits surged by 66% and 66% of FNB stokvel account members have grown by 34% in just 1 year. Client experience head at FNB Cash Investment Guguzikali says people are going back to financial stokvels as they are experiencing hard financial times. That's all for your news headlines. Now heading over to your sports news, starting off with cricket news. India captain Rohit retires from Test duty. Rohit Sharma has announced his retirement from Test cricket amid reports he would be removed as captain for India's upcoming series in England. He expressed gratitude for representing India in white and will continue as OD skipper after winning the Champions Trophy in March. Rohit played 67 tests, took over as captain from Virat Kohli in 2022 and led India to 2023 World Test Championship final. His career includes 4,301 test runs at an average of 40.57 with 12 centuries. Jasprit Bumrah has previously deputized in his absence. India's test series against England starts on the 20th of June. Heading over to your rugby news, Damian Williamson reflects ahead of milestone Stormers cap. Damian Williamson, influenced by Springbok legends early in his career, credits their impact on his development. With regular fly half Manny Libbok back to full fitness, the Stormers backline is finally at full strength ahead of their URC match against the Dragons. Williams celebrated his 100th Stormers appearance, and his birthday on 7th of May aims to end the week with a winner. After an injury-hit season, he values the perspective gained from times away. Debuting at 18, he reflects on his journey from young prodigy to seasoned professional in the United Rugby Championship. Now on your football news, Sekhukhune United to cut ties with Sipho Mbule, and more is in hot water. Sekhukhune United midfielder Sipho Mbule has been sidelined after violating the club's code of conduct, with head coach Eric Tinkler taking disciplinary action. Mbule previously cleared of misconduct in March. He has missed the last 2 matches and is unlikely to feature in the remaining games against Kaizer Chiefs and Golden Arrows. Defender Katlego Mohamme and Lindokuhle Mtshali also face uncertain futures. Mohamme allegedly arrived in poor condition before a Pirates match, while Mtshali went AWOL. The club may pursue internal hearings or contract terminations, with decisions expected before the season concludes on the 30th of June. That's all for now. Stay tuned for more sports and news updates throughout the show. Don't forget to share your thoughts on these headlines with us on social media using the hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show, and send us your voice note on 0604933226. It's 0604933226. Now let's keep you safe on those roads with your latest traffic update with the TC Wakwamazibu.
Grand and peaceful rising, Vooka Nation. Here is your latest traffic update to get you on your daily commute. A stationary vehicle is present on N4 eastbound at the ramps from the N1. The emergency lane is closed at the ramps from the N1. Drive with caution and expect possible delays. Another stationary vehicle is affecting the traffic on the N1 southbound at the ramp from Rivonia Road. Expect delays near the ramp to the Rivonia Road M9. And another stationary vehicle is present on the N1 southbound on the Pretoria Main Road after the ramp before the Ellendale Road M39. The emergency lane is closed at the ramp from the Ellendale Road M39. There was a crash on the R80 Mabopane Highway near the Roslyn off-ramp involving a mini bus taxi that overturned, so be cautious and around that area. The N12 highway in Eldorado Park is affected by a crime scene this morning. The eastbound lanes are closed while westbound traffic is heavy. So further south, gridlock is causing severe delays. That's all from your hashtag Vooka Traffic. So if you happen to be on the road, do make sure to share your traffic update using the hashtags hashtag Vooka Traffic and hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show, or send your voice note on 060-493-3226. Now that's all from us right here. Let's get started on what is again going to be another energetic start to your day.
Escape the ordinary and discover the extraordinary with Swellappeal Tours. Whether you're a group of friends or a family looking for a memorable getaway, Swellappeal Tours has you covered. Our all-inclusive tours take you to South Africa's most stunning destinations, from the scenic beauty of Mpumalanga to the vibrant life of Gauteng and the coastal charm of Durban.
Hey family.
Hi,
My name is Tisika Mazibuko Shabalala.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
My name is Musi Miss
my name is Ketua Ketumgunu.
on the Vooka
Vooka Breakfast Show.
Every weekdays from 7 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
This is where we are going to have our topical discussion featuring various experts from different fields.
We're going to take care of you and it's going to be amazing, man. Right now I'm on the set of the Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blink-On Network.
Do not forget to subscribe.
That's Vooka Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms.
Vooka.
See you there.
23 minutes past 7. It is the time, and I cannot hear myself. Is everything connected right here on my side? Yes, it is. You guys can hear me. You can hear me. Okay,
Yeah,
let me
I
make
can.
sure your mic's on and that will be fixed. But yeah, 23 minutes past 7, it is the time, and you're watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. So much more is going to happen on this beautiful Thursday morning, and we're looking forward to connect with you through our social media platforms. Right now, we are live on YouTube or Facebook and also TikTok. Do make sure that you leave down your comment. Tell us what you think, because you know, man, it is always those epic mornings that we bring you. And of course, man, I'm joined by two beautiful ladies right here on the Vooka team and the Vooka table, of course. Ladies, how are you doing this Thursday morning, man?
I'm doing fantastic. Like I said, on this Thursday, I'm like very, very ready for obviously Friday, Koratu weekend. Did you see what the weekend actually has for us? What about you though, TC?
I am great, man. I mean, like you guys said, it's halfway to the weekend. Meaning, man, it's a thirsty Thursday, throwback Thursday. What is the most memorable thing that has happened to you this week? What are you grateful for?
Yeah.
Let's look back on how far we've come this week. And of course, because Mina, I am grateful that I am still alive, I'm still healthy, and I'm still here in order to enjoy my mornings with you, the Vooka Nation, on Vooka Breakfast Show. And of course, my name, you guys know me very well, man. You know, if you are a top fan and you are part of the Vooka Breakfast Show family, you know, Guti, my name is Tisika Mazibuko Shabalala, your prime cut creative and your positivity dose of the day. Idak dindi elihle say Tepi Songu, you know what? Intomazana nje yazini esithandela ubumnandi, esithandela ukuthandana, esithandela yazini
Wait,
man.
TC, ubumnandi ukuphi? Because when it grew back to 1990.
Ubumnandi bempilo. You know, the beautiful, you know, the beauty of life. You know,
I
the
see
niceness
that.
of life. Yeah.
But
I'm
then
just
you also
grateful.
said it's a thirsty what?
It's a thirsty Thursday.
Where are
course,
you
man.
quenching your thirst?
We are here to help you quench your thirst right here on the Vooka
Yes,
Breakfast Show, man.
yes,
I love the
Mo.
energy. You know, I
Yeah.
love the energy. It's the energy that people should be giving off each and
Definitely.
every day when you wake up, man. Have that positive mindset. You know that you're going to have for your day or your week because right now it's Thursday. Tomorrow it's Friday. A lot of people are looking forward to a Friday because on the weekend people are up to good things. We no longer use the up to no good because we always bring positivity. You
Right?
understand? Yeah,
Yes.
man. So right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, we are dedicated into making sure that you are informed with well-versed people from around the world. So as Afriberry mentioned, we're going to be joined by Malcolm Moy and also joined by the lady who is a general practitioner.
Khadija Ghani.
Khadija,
Yes,
yes,
the
yes.
beautiful Khadija
Yeah,
Ghani.
man.
Ghani,
Yeah.
sorry.
Can't wait for that conversation, man, because I think when it comes to health and wellness is what most of the people need.
Yeah, man, we really need to, get those health tips for those those pending those pending
Yeah.
health questions that we all might have on our minds, and how to get healthy and stay healthy, and just get information on where to get that quality health care, because we all know that with the illnesses and everything that everybody faces today, we need to know where can we get that quality health care. And I mean, in one of the news headlines that you read, Mo, was the questioning of Cyril Ramaphosa on the signing off of that NHI bill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, guys, your health is your power, because without you, nothing else is possible. So you need to always look after yourself. And we at the Vooka Breakfast Show are always up to looking after you.
Yeah, we hope that the president is going to give people good news in terms of the NHI bill, because it is aimed at universal quality health care that is going to help all South Africans who are experiencing inequality in this healthcare system. So,
Yeah,
speaking-
but the question is, why did he sign it? Because
Yeah.
isn't that the headline?
yeah.
Yes.
So now,
because they want to see what process did he take in
Yes.
order to come up to that decision to say,
Yeah.
okay, now we are going to sign this off, and this is going to assist
Yeah.
everybody.
Me, I just want to know, Ecalen Nguti, what exactly is the benefits of the NHI? How is it exactly going to benefit people of low income status? Apparently, it's supposed to help like the whole of South Africa, be it upper class, middle class, lower class. But then we can barely afford to pay for electricity. How can we
Yeah,
afford
hence-
to pay for that?
Hence is there to help those people from lower income households. Right now, a lot of people, we know we have a Tepotemba, which
Yes.
is a private healthcare facility right here, located
Soweto.
is it Dobsonville or Meadowlands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
So, Tepotemba is in Meadowlands, right?
Meadowlands.
So, the NHI will help a lot of people who do not have access to Tepotemba to have access, because now the government will buy all medical schemes and they're going to fall under the NHI bill. That means anyone can go to any health facility and receive proper and quality health care. That is why he is going to be questioned on why did you sign without proper consultation and speaking to the relevant people, right?
I think when it comes to consultation or not speaking to the relevant people, it was already being boycotted before he even signed. So he literally signed off the bill knowing very well that a lot of people are actually against it. So what
Hence,
does
they
that
want to know, like, what
Yes.
is the thought process? What is the process? Like,
Yeah.
what led to the decision? Can he, like, basically validate?
Walk us through.
Validate why you decided to now go ahead with this, despite, the raised concerns and those pending things that were already existent before, when you were still in talks about it.
Yeah.
So now, can you now, tell us why now you have decided to take and I am interested, for one, to know and find out, obviously, the thought process and the deliberation that went into this decision. But speaking about, deliberation and, processes, I like that now, they are trying to vet school transport drivers. That is
Yeah,
quite important.
yeah.
I thought that was quite an important headline, because somebody, when I was, in school,
Yeah.
I remember there was one transport driver my mom got for us, my youngest sister and I. And then, towards, obviously my adolescent stage, and as I was growing up, getting older, maturing, I started to realize that, man, especially with the male transport drivers, sometimes, especially when they are of a younger age, I'm not talking like abu malume, like abadala,
Basically,
like,
you're 25,
yeah,
24.
if they get a little bit too familiar with the female school children.
Yeah.
I'm saying this from my personal experience of what happened to me as a school child. Obviously it was a concern I raised with my mother, of which I got a change of transport.
Yeah.
But now, with cases like, Ukwekwe and, other, cases, and obviously the concern around the safety of children, minors who are, exposed to adults without regulation. That is a problem. So now I'm glad that, now that system, there needs to be a system to regulate that. It's I know for my nephew who goes to school in Roodepoort, when it comes to transportation, because it's a private school, like it's a private school, the school has a I guess a database for transports that they recommend to parents. If you come there, you're registering a child, and it's a thing of, okay, like I don't know how I'm going to, but do you perhaps as the school know of a transport driver that you can recommend for a certain area, because I live in, then that process goes on. But now, now because it's a matter of public concern, now it's become like a thing of, can we actually have a set regulatory law that now vets, and it's a process that everybody has to go through in order to I mean, of course now, red tape and such becomes now a thing, because of all these things that are happening, and now we're trying to regulate all these things and control all these things so that we are making sure everybody's safe. The issue of bureaucracy and red tape comes up, and obviously we all know that corruption can happen and whatnot. But I guess all of that, it's a bridge everybody will cross when they get to
I
it.
love because they spoke about, that thorough background research.
Yes.
Because for someone who is living in a township, I can tell you that a lot of transport drivers, they don't have driver's licenses. And when it happens that it is an accident, most of the cases you will never find a driver there. Because when police come,
he runs if he's
they run
alive.
away. And now it poses, the safety of the children. Now the children, they are there. You don't know who's hurt and who might be injured in that moment, because the transport driver is responsible for the safety of those children. And there's a lot of things that we see, man. Like maybe a car that is allowed to take 16 people. You will see having
26.
over.
Yeah, I remember my nephew,
Yeah.
Begangena Iskolo, and besimhambisa with the transport. Malume, if you're watching, if you ever like
I
Joe,
doubt.
you yourself know Uguti, your car was unsafe, and ebogcwalisa ingane behlezi khala zifika late
Malume
esikolweni
uyabalimaza.
because imoto yakhe iyafa, because it's not roadworthy. But umalume yazi bekahlezi athini kumama when my mom, because my mom and I are responsible for raising my nephew since my sister's late. So now it's a sense of how, but umami abuza malume, like, dude, we having complaints. My nephew always comes back to say he got to school late, or sometimes you call us to say now, excuse us, umntana ngicela thatha taxi because my car doesn't want to start. So now, but you expect us to pay full money.
Man. Hey.
And even when it's school holidays, they have that rule that But what another thing that they're trying to do amongst themselves as transport drivers, they have like these associations. Like as a group of transport drivers, they try to come together and form some sort of group.
Almost the same as like what taxi drivers did and Bolt did.
Yes. So now they come together and then they what they were starting to do is like have newsletters. Would say, guys, you know, and we know the June holidays are coming up, but please, you know, but
Because, you know, that's also something that
Yeah.
also needs to be talked about. The fact that you want the full amount, yet your transport is not roadworthy. And then umntana mfanele ahlale njengesardine.
But you are the one delaying to the transport to be roadworthy. Because remember, if you pay that 320, if that money of those children is combined, it can make the money for the
It's
transport
not
driver
always
to
the
buy the parts
Not
and
always
fix the
the
car.
case. It's not
I mean,
always the
No,
case. Yes,
see, it should be the case
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's a 16-seater. You have
Come on,
26
guys.
kids in there. So how
Cabangela
much
try,
money are you
man.
getting per household, per child to actually have in there? First of all, because it should be enough. And most of them, the minimum that you could ever pay for a transport, it's basically 400.
we paid more. No,
Moka, I'm saying the minimum because I know with my kid, the minimum that I paid when he was going to daycare, it was 300. That time he was
Yeah.
going from here to Ekopano
You are lucky, my sister.
in terms of the distance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the
That's a
minimum.
short distance.
Yeah, it's a
But
short
then it was-
distance,
that's
but
a-
then it's more than enough
Enough, I guess.
because they're not dropping one kid, they're dropping multiple kids at the same spot. So you can't tell me that 400 times 10 is not enough money. Hore wena o tsamaya o lo reka di-bricks ka mo ho na no mongwe o patalang 700 o mongwe o patala no.
Come on, guys, we need to stop
man.
giving transport drivers a headache.
No,
Because
no, no, no.
I can
I'm
attest
not
to that.
against that
Share,
of
man.
paying them their full money. I'm
Yeah.
not against paying their full money.
But
into-
fix your
I am
cars.
saying, but you guys forget one important thing. Do you know why they get into that business? Most of them, like you're saying, they don't have a license and all that.
Yes.
It's because of what unemployment. So ulo muntu loyo kahle kahle lento le business yokuthi endlini people who eat off of that. Maybe he himself supports his own child to go to school with that money.
Exactly.
Which is what Umalume was doing because Umalume, umntanakhe was in the transport themselves.
Yeah.
Umalume used some of the money from business here transport.
Yeah,
Uye bekasebenza. He was a breadwinner in his household. Like literally he explained to my mom, he's a breadwinner in his household. That money, not all of it goes towards maintaining transport.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because business we qalele because unemployed.
Yes.
So he's a breadwinner, meaning he's the sole one who works endlini. So that money goes towards like making sure there's food, groceries. So it's not all going towards the
I
car.
understand,
Yeah,
because
we
history
do.
saka malume is different. I mean, I can attest to my transport driver.
Okay.
Because
That's how it-
uzakes, uzakes abazali abaningi bebemhlupha, you know, because once in the morning, like, okay, you'll get your
No,
money in
there
the
are
morning.
those ones, yes.
And then uyafika uzakes like, ubaba ngani
No,
uzobuya.
I also had, yeah.
Like there was a day where he was angry to a point that he needed only 300 rands for transport.
for petrol.
Yes,
maybe,
and
yes.
he
It was
drove
like,
and the moto yama. And now, what are you going to say?
True.
Because obviously the same problem is going to go back to their parents. Ukuthi, guys, le moto le hambing amanzi. So if you're saying you're delaying the payment of the child, how am I supposed to get your child to the school?
True. I mean, that's now all of that is now into consideration, and I agree full well with that. But like I'm saying, like with the vetting of the thing, it will make
Yeah.
sure that you know what the cars are roadworthy. They've been properly serviced because we've heard of those horrible road accidents
Yeah.
where lives were lost, children's lives were lost, and the driver themselves have the correct papers. They got a PDP and they qualify to actually be a transport
Yeah.
driver. And I mean,
Yeah.
of course, accidents happen anyway. But I mean, if you have all the papers and you're a proper driver, and, there's certain
I think-
things you are covered by. When it comes to law, let's talk about legislature now.
Yeah.
When it comes to the law and as an accident happens, I mean, it's worse when you
Yeah.
don't have proper papers. It's worse when Vela the car is unroadworthy. You understand? But now if you make sure the car is roadworthy,
Yeah.
you yourself being the driver, you have a PDP, you have a license, it's paid up, it's okay, it's up to date, and you make sure that you have those associations. Like I said, they've started to have these little associations where you yourselves, guys, Guti, parents, how do you tackle? You have laws, you have things. I know that now they started to take out forms.
Yeah.
So if ufuna umntana akhambe a transport, they give you a form, sign and whatnot.
So
and
basically an indemnity form.
Yeah, to say, not indemnity.
Consent form in a
like
way.
to say,
but then I need to, the other thing that we also keep on forgetting is that as much as the cars need to be roadworthy, drivers need to have PDP, need to have licenses, the fact that abantwana bagcwala ngathi amasardine. No, I'm being honest. Yes, because there was once an incident. I think this video, I saw it last year, where a transport driver got stopped by Metro Police. Only to find out it's a 16-seater, but it had 21 kids inside it.
You see, so then those things will be regulated.
Those things, man, let's be honest, it's not like ama transport won't pop up. They keep on popping up eventually. So there's no need to sardines. Like literally think about your kid sitting like that and then there's an accident. No hal.
Hey man, I mean we've seen things, guys, because I mean I can besihamba ngebhasi lakaZozo, man. Things that were happening there because uZozo didn't have brakes. It's those old buses. So uZozo would open ifestere and just shout nje ukuthi anginamabriki, like anginamabriki every time, because there was a lady who was reversing out of her house. So the lady was like, no, I have a right of way because I saw you coming there. I also came in, Baba. Wait, but I don't have brakes, man. I don't have brakes. So these are some of the things that are happening. But it's nice to see that the department is seeing some of these issues. So the Gauteng Department of Education has admitted that 3,400 scholar transport drivers have not been vetted against the Child Protection Register, which is the CPR. This was recently revealed by Education MEC Matume Chilwane in response to a question posed by the DA in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. So, a statement by the DA on Monday quoted Section 126 of the Children's Act. It stated, before a person is allowed to work with or have access to children at an institution providing welfare services to children, the person managing the institution must establish whether or not that person is deemed unsuitable to work with children. Right? If
because I mean, it's the same. Like you can't be a teacher, and you're on the sex offenders list.
Yeah,
you can't be a teacher and you have a problem. You're an alcoholic.
Yeah,
you can't be a teacher and you're a drug. So there's children. That's why I'm saying child safety is a major concern in our country.
True.
Considering the cases that we are seeing and the issues that are popping up.
Yeah.
Minors need to be protected by any means necessary. They cannot defend themselves.
Yeah.
So us as the adults, as the mothers, as the fathers, aunts, aunties, grannies, mkulus, hey, sonke, we must come together and think as, I mean, I come back to that saying. I remember like Lane Studio when I said it takes a village to raise a child. Udumsani was like, what village? Like there's no village that's gonna raise my child.
And it's an African proverb that we grew up knowing, is that as much as you are the biological parent of the child, it does not dismiss the fact that the child also still needs to learn manners. If I feel like, for example, umntwana mfundisa bullies, hi baby girl, how you doing? Abantu abadala bayabulisa uthi sawubona.
Umntwana wakho,
Yes,
wami,
owethu.
but now the villages are full of communities.
True.
Yeah, bo.
True, and we all have different value systems, parenting styles, ideas, perspectives, opinions, beliefs. Hey, like sonke yazin, silena lena le, and I mean that's okay because we're different individuals. We require different things. Ugoda, we all know, and we can all come to a common understanding. Abantwana, they need to be protected, and they are sponges that we as a community need to groom to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
productive and
To become future leaders, man.
Yeah, leaders of our communities,
Yeah.
protectors of our communities, progressors of our communities. You know, so they see that from us. So I mean, of course, it's not on the community only, but obviously on parents themselves and immediate families. Those like you said, individual communities that make up this village.
Yeah.
But oksalayo, guys.
Yeah, man. So
Oksalayo.
just let us know what you think
Yeah.
right there on the comment section. We are live on YouTube or Facebook and also TikTok. You can check it out. Now, going to YouTube comments, I have Zinzi R, hashtag Vooka Breakfast Show. Good morning, Vooka Nation. And I have Tembimni. Good morning, team. Hashtag Vooka Nation Sivugile. Hashtag 2025. Yes, a very good morning to you guys. I hope that you guys are going to join us for the rest of the show because it is going to be jam-packed. And then Stevens asking, good morning, team. Question, do parents check if the transportation is roadworthy? As long as my child is getting to school, there's no need to check because some other parents, they don't have, that knowledge if the car is roadworthy. Malume maga vulela umntwana, picks up the doll, takes it off and then brings it back.
Affordability. If
It's like,
umalume
yeah.
is saying ukuthi like uzokuthatha 300 bese omunye athi uzokuthatha 250. But yeah, obviously, like literally, you're a single mother, or like your household does not have that income, and budget it literally could only maybe it's better for the 250, and at the 250 ish, imoto yakhona.
Yeah,
It's not doing the things.
90% of the parents, like they don't know, what happens after the child has gone into the transport.
Yeah.
They don't know ukuthi umalume usayalanda another 39 yabantwana. Umntana uhlala ebhuthini or bambeka phezu kwemoto.
And I remember, bakhona bahlala that was you tell yeah. I was like, what? Umntana ebhuthini, guys, no.
We
Now
used to
we
do
get
that.
ebhuthini.
And then, you know when
with
you
my traits and characteristics.
Umdala
uyabona.
ungaka vele uke wahlala ebhuthini.
And obviously when it comes to that, man, I know that a lot of parents, they would never agree because I'm paying a full amount. Why umntana mazohlala ebhuthini ngibhadala 320 yonke iphelele. So it's some of the things that nabo they hide because I saw Uzex was strategic. Begalanda lo mntana lo ka mama lo ungarasi lo. Start with that first child.
Okay.
Or if igcwele imoto and then bamfake ebhuthini, it's fine. Go to that last parent ongarasi afaka mhlophe umntana ke. Imagine bapush umntana kho ka. Hlala kahle wena, man.
Baba, I've seen things in the morning like
Yeah.
when the school transports come and fetch abantwana around the township. I'm like, guys, is this really like really like
yeah,
wow,
unfortunately, that's some of the things that we're experiencing. And then, it also goes back to come to the thing that you said about having young transport drivers sometimes hitting on these little kids, right? So for me, growing up, like literally from primary
And
until high school.
as a girl child ish.
As a girl child, I think we should. It also comes back to the parents' teachings. Uti, these girls or these girl childs also need to learn how to say no and also voice out their opinions. Unfortunately, we live in a world where 2000 aspita.
Afriberry, Ima, no.
The reason why, let me finish. The reason why I'm saying this, it goes back into my era when amaquanta maqala ukungena.
nami ngeke ngangena
Ima kancane angakacedi wena mamela mina wena mamela mina. I'm saying that it also goes back to this because I literally saw one of those other girls that I went to high school with Ejo Eastepe on flick stockings right in front center. Ukuhlala asihlali noma sihlala sivula ithanga, and I'm like nalabantwana basile. Let's be honest. As much as we can say, I'm a transport driver, also know that they're not supposed to do that. Abantwana laba basile bone.
I love that you went there, Afriberry, because me personally, I know a transport driver who is personal to me. Nyamazi, like he, hey. No, Nyama, I love that you went there because, like, he mentioned Uguti. You know what, TC? Me nangimdala.
Yeah,
It pains my heart because ngimdala kanje. I've had experiences where umntwana like
Is
you can
making
see
an advance.
is making it, but ngimdala TC mina ngimdala TC mina ngeke ngizohlula ingane ngimina ngimdala I put that child in their place like whoa ungazongijwayela ngumuntu omdala ungazoganga like ungakulinga ubone ukuthi ngubabakho awubone ukuthi ngubhuti wakho like ngimdala like you are the adult, you have the power to put the child in their place. You hence even when they say ukuthi noma ngagqoka isikete esifishane kang ngithi noma ngeza akushanga izinqa ekugcineni akakuforce ukuthi umthinte like you have the will. Guys, we must never, you know what,
yes,
I don't like this thing of people always liking to take away their own power. You have the power of will. The will is in you. And emote, and this is what I love. Ubanele once said to me, TC, wena, it's you, TC. If you say no, if you, TC, decide, me, TC, this is my decision, this is how I want to act, this is how I want to feel. You are the captain
of your own ship.
You understand? Nobody can say no. Akfoste gutumtinda, akfoste gutu uele. Yes, of course, in Kanugo, temptation is there. Hey, even the Lord's Prayer says, lead us not into temptation. Angazi, even if it must be guti uguqe khona lapho uthandaze ucela uNkulunkulu ukuthi akakusize ukuthi ungalingeki ukuthi uwele
kuleso. It goes both ways. As much as I would remember, it goes both ways because it also comes back to the parents teaching itself. How does your kid, if your kid can literally walk out of the house after there's something wrong with you njengomzali. Ayo esikoleni ngesicebe.
Yeah, because mama uzothi yazi mntana mangibhadalanga ngicela ubhadala udrive. It's not those cases, but like there are some parents, man, who would go to that extent. That
unfortunately,
actually, we know that there are those unsavory situations, but now we are talking about the general matter, and you know, kids are kids. You are the adult. Who has the bigger? Who is the adult? You understand? You have the stronger will. You have the better understanding of life, and you are the adult. So you can stop it right there where it starts. Even if, and that's the thing. Umntana has one pot. As monga ingane iyaphoxeka and le ezoqhubeka no lezoqhubeka ayempeleni ila. So wena as the adult, you tell the mother, you tell the parent, like, you know what, mama, I'm having
look for another transport for your kid.
Yes, I'm having an issue. Like the guy that I'm telling you about who is a transporter, he has said that, like, he did do that. Like he said that girl, he ended up having to go to the mother and ask the mother, please, can you go look for another transport? I ngiyayithanda imali. But no, I cannot deal now with the situation because it's getting out of hand and it's putting me in a position that I'm uncomfortable with. So you as the mother, as of the parent, can you please deal with the situation? But me, this is my decision. And this is how I'm going to now deal with the situation. So, and you know what, guys? Like, obviously, I went to Northcliffe High. I've been in the burbs, you know, the north and whatnot. So, what's the Model C schools, you know, the upper echelon schools, you know, guys, you know, everything is imotos akona, they service, they're good.
Not sardines.
They're not like they branded, it's literally got signage, this is a school bus. And I'm not saying, guys, we are not saying Guti here in the townships and in, you know, our communities, there aren't good things. We know that there are those transports that really do service their cars, that have those proper transports. We know, we see you, we know you. But now it's like that situation where now when we are talking about the men who you know, when everybody was saying #men are trash and men were coming out and saying, yeah, Marami, I'm not trash. No, but we're not talking to you. So why are you feeling offended? Or why are you feeling touched?
Rest, Baba, sit down.
We are not talking to you. We're talking to those that who do know themselves, who know that they are doing this, who know that this is something that they face in their everyday operations and everything that they do. So we are talking to you. You understand? So sometimes don't be a Cinderella. Don't put on a shoe that does not fit.
So Katie, right there on YouTube, I remember when I used to transport kids, everything never added up. Transport drivers undercharge. That's why they have 30 kids in a 16-seater. E.g., if one kid is 1K, that same kid pays that kid, same kid pays 600 a week, right? For a taxi, and pays 200 rand a day for an Uber. That one kid doesn't even cover a full tank for that one kid. Then you gotta buy food, pay rent, buy parts, clothes, etc. It doesn't add up.
It's a business.
Parents need to pay properly. If you know Guti month end, you need to pay 300 or 600 for your child. Pay it.
Yes, do pay. Like, it's a business, guys, and that's why I always say, if you know someone is running a business, one thing, and I really don't like this about ourselves in the black community that we do, you will pay full price. Ema 8 euros ase Gucci. And uzoya yazini uye ema kuphi uye ema ufike lapha, you don't ask for half price, you don't ask for discount, you will pay your whole money and your whole, the full price that they ask for. And then you come to honest businessmen and women in the townships and who are abazamelai, small businesses. The startups, you will come and ask and be like, you're expensive. Why are you charging this? And no, but guys, why do you do that? Why? Guys, you are the ones, I'm a business, lower that tomorrow you are crying about. And then when they try, obviously, to now mitigate that by, obviously, because they have to eat also, guys. Yeah. We are all trying to make a living. So, we understand the state of the nation right now. We all understand the state of economics, the state of global economy. Yeah. So at the end of the day, that person needs that money. Yeah. So if you need that service and they offer that service and you want it, then go there and pay the full price. But if not, then go for someone less and then pay there. Don't come to someone who has set their price and who has their price, and then suddenly you're like, no, but no, don't haggle. I don't like hagglers when it comes, haggle where it's necessary, where you can, but not when it comes to small black businesses that are trying to make it. Small businesses, guys. Sonke siyazama. Sonke, we're trying to patanisa, man. Here in the township, guys, we spoke now on Workers' Day, man. We went there to Mtombo, and we were trying, we were there with Bosa, and you know what, we had, and we were talking about how we need revitalization of townships, and economy, we need, and just the economy around here, and that the rand needs to circulate more here, and the jobs need to be created here, so that the money is spent here, and the people that benefit are here, and we are not working there, and then, having to spend our money there, and, in areas where we are not even considered as equals. Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Steven Zara, I think the problem is Instagram and the internet is now raising our girl children. Teach the girl how to be a lady, not a baddie. Right?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So tell us what you think there. And then we also have some of the comments right there. Joining us, Maria, good morning, #Vooka Nation. Tembimni, #Happy Thursday, Team Vooka Nation. Hector Takalani, #Vooka Breakfast Show, #Sivugile. Morning, guys. Morning to you. I hope that you guys are going to join us until the rest of the show. Right now, it's 2 minutes till we hit 8 o'clock. What we're going to do right now is to let us know what you think, man, about this matter of transported drivers. Do you think those cars need to be checked, and parents can say, you know what, I can't pay for a car that does not have a spare wheel? Let us know what you think right there on the comment section using the #Vooka Breakfast Show. Let us take a short break, and then when you come back, man, we're going to give you the best history class you've never had in your life right here. So do not go anywhere.
Well, yeah, Sugar Blossom Memory. Yes.
Wow.
You wish it was you.
Still a beautiful morning right here, and you are with us on Vooka Breakfast Show. My name is Moketi Maimane, and joined by two beautiful ladies, TC and Afri Berry. Just join us and connect with us on all social media platforms. We are Vooka Breakfast Show. We are live on YouTube and Facebook, also on TikTok. And then I have a comment from Hector Takalane saying, TC is right. If you don't have the will as a person, then you wouldn't have morals as being the bigger person. It's people that we need in our communities to become leaders and also fathers to those children who are fatherless, because another girl child will be, too soft towards the driver because of being fatherless. They don't understand the relationship of that they can have with someone who is older than them. And then the Tumza 6 at good morning, Mavuga Amahle, #Sivugile, #Vooka Breakfast Show. Thank you for this insightful conversation. The scholar transport industry needs to be regulated and drivers must acquire the necessary dogs. So we're going to keep you updated on the developing stories on how far they are in making sure that pens into law. And now we don't see any car in the street transporting our children to school. Right, before the break, as I promised, that we're going to give you the best history lesson that you've never had. I know that you hate Mr. Maluleke, who taught you in school. You hate Mr. Banzi Banzi, all right there.
Banzi
But
Banzi.
Right here, man, we are dedicated into
I made
giving
my
you-
history teacher cry once. So
Like history teachers, man, yes, because we had
and that
Mr.
lady
Marsha,
after that,
man.
she
Yo,
didn't want me, man.
hey,
And I was so good at history.
I didn't do history.
I love the essays. The essays I'd get bored. I remember doing an essay, right? And then, my white classmate asked me to do like an essay for her, and I did mine.
yeah.
Guess who got the higher mark?
you.
She did.
She did. She got a higher mark than me, bruh. And I'm like, wait, did I put my best work into her flippant essay? And mine was like, yeah, but I mean, it's the way it is. Yeah, history.
Yeah, man. History is very nice, man, because I gotta tell you, when it comes to those SA, man, I remember that one I used to cram till this day. Joseph Stalin, he was a dictator himself
yes.
and didn't want to take. Yes, Cesar, cramming is painful, man.
Our world war.
Yeah, man, because one thing about cramming, if you say Joseph Stalin, everything is gone. Everything is gone. That's how bad it can become. But yeah, man, let's look into what happened today in history. Right? So, smallpox was eradicated after global vaccination, ending centuries of devastation. Today, on May 8, 1980, smallpox played another momentous role in the history of public health when the World Health Organization officially declared the disease eradicated. This was the first and only time in human history that a deadly human disease was eradicated. Rinderpest, a cattle disease, was eradicated in 2011. Polio is teetering on the edge. We hope that HIV is also going to be eradicated. Right?
Amen.
And the next one, we have a bog body. Tolund man was found preserved in Denmark. In 1950, Pete Carters in Denmark discovered a remarkably well-preserved body in a bog. Initially feared to be a recent murder victim, police investigated but found no signs of recent burials, leading archaeologists to examine the find. To worldwide amazement, the body, later named Tolund man, was over 2,000 years old and likely a victim of ritual human sacrifice. His discovery remains one of the most significant finds of prehistoric remains. Interesting. And then on the last and interesting one, 1886, today Coca-Cola was invented. On May 8, 1886, Dr. John Pemberton brought his perfected syrup to Jacob's Pharmacy in downtown Atlanta, where the first glass of Coca-Cola was poured. Serving about 9 drinks per day in its first year, Coca-Cola was an exciting new drink in the beginning. Obviously, man. In the beginning, man, it became what it is today, man. Coca-Cola is the biggest soft drink today.
But Mo, you didn't mention
I'm so
that,
glad they
that
took
first
the
class.
Coke out of Coke.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because it had cocaine.
So
I was about
glad
to say
they
that
took
you
the
didn't
Coke
say
out
that it
of
had cocaine.
Coca-Cola.
No, man, I'm not here to promote the Coke here. Here to promote Coca-Cola.
Okay,
The black Coke.
So I
Not
have
the white one.
I have another one in history, right? So in 1945.
Yeah. So it's we're gonna end with that one, the invented one, because we have put them in the system. So that one, please share it with your friends.
I think please share it with your
Yeah,
friends, you know.
I am the history teacher right here. I'm Mr. Maimane, right? So, history learners, tell me what you think, man. Tell me what you think. If you have found anything interesting on those ones that I've just read for you, just let me know right there on the comment section. So, we're going to end with that one of Coca-Cola. Right. Obviously, we were speaking about the numbers of days we are into the year. As you should celebrate your day like, you know what, it is your last day. Right. Go all in. So today is the 128th day of the year, 129th in leap years. So we are left with 237 days left. So many days. And those days you need to make an impact in your life. Do something purposeful, man.
Be
Wake
intentional.
up, be intentional,
Yes.
help someone, you know, practice gratitude, because it is very, very important to practice gratitude in every day of your life.
Definitely.
And then we are left with 33 weeks remaining until we say Happy New Year to 2026. And speaking of celebrating your day like it is your birthday, let us look at who is growing up in our celebrities, and we might make you your celebrity. We might make you our celebrity by telling us if it's your birthday. Let us help you celebrate. If you know anyone who is growing up, send a shout out to them, or you can send a voice note on 060-493-3226. Right. Today's birthday, Ukula Usamkelo Khatebe. Born today, 1989, turning 36 years old. Interesting fact, he lost both arms in an electrocution accident at age 9 when his kite got caught in electric wires. Samkelo Khatebe, born in Soweto 1989, lost both arms in an accident at age 9, but later became a successful Paralympic sprinter and a high jumper. He began running in 2003 and overcame setbacks to win medals in an international competition, including gold in the 4x100 meters relay at the 2012 Paralympic Games. He has also been recognized with sports awards for athletes with disabilities. Happy birthday to you, man. I mean, you are breaking so many boundaries
Right?
in your life, man.
You're paying into power.
Yeah, man.
We're all about that power.
Another one who is growing up, the man who got a fake street cred as a 6'9", born today, 1996, turning 29 years
The
old.
shade.
At a young age, he decided to leave school. Actually, he was expelled from school in the 8th grade. I don't know why we're celebrating his birthday. This guy dropped out of school. But he got fake street cred, though. That's a story. He went and joined, he paid gangsters to be and say, guys, give me a street
I
cred.
remember.
Yeah.
And then I
Did that, man.
man.
Yeah, so... You know what? That's some of the interesting
Yeah, and then
things
his
about
career
him.
died when he
Ow.
came out of prison.
You
Dead.
just had to.
Yeah, man. So,
just
rapper
died.
also known as Tekashi 69, whose 2017 songs Exodia, Go Crazy, Ooh-wee, and Zeta 0.5 help establish him as a rap artist. His song Gumo would go platinum in 2017, collaborated with Nicki Minaj on
yeah.
his song Fefe. And that song,
Fifi.
Yeah. This is
And I knew you were gonna pronounce it like that.
Fefe.
Yeah, I really knew you were gonna pronounce it Fefe.
Yeah. I think this is the music video where he got robbed by those gangsters he snitched on, because he was on a club and then Nicki Minaj was like, hey, 6ix9ine, I saw
I don't
something
really
on
want
the
no
video."
friends.
Yeah, man, I saw something on the video. Can you please go edit it out? And then on his way back, those guys he snitched on and got the street cred from,
Yes.
they robbed him and they kidnapped him and they took all his jewelry. And then one of the nights when they were going back to his home, he was like, how did this guy know where I lived? And called the girlfriend like, hey, pack all my jewelry. And then the lady asked why. Was like, no, pack all my jewelry. They got there and then he thought they're going to drop him off. And like, that moment of kidnapping in front of I would die. But happy birthday to him, man. And then last one is Io Sky. Born today, May 8, 1990, turning 35 years old. Interesting fact about Iyo, from a young age, Iyo had a strong interest in athletics, particularly gymnastics. Japanese professional wrestler Masami Odate, known by her ring name Lo Shiraya. She is signed to WWE. High-flying assaults in the ring are her signature moves as a wrestler. She stands at 5 feet 1.5
What? I watch
inches.
wrestling.
Hey, Yamazi, no, like,
Yeah.
you know, you started doing the move.
And then she
there.
just walks in there with a lazy walk and she just goes in there.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Happy birthday, man. I don't know what happened because I thought today we were going to celebrate, footballers. Man. I saw yesterday how you were mispronouncing my football. I was like, what is going on, man? Who's Cody Gakpo now? It's Gakpo, man.
Hey, wait.
Gakpo. What? Amen.
Khethilanga le wrong for love.
Amen.
Uzengelanga le wrong emsebenzini.
So yeah, man, let us help you celebrate your birthday right here by sending your shout out, man, on who you want us to celebrate your birthday with right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. And all we can do for them is to give them a shout out and let them know that they are loved in everything they do. Yeah, and also, man, we've got what we call our everyday, practice and culture or tradition, if I can call it, which is word of the day.
Yes.
We know that words help us, to improve our everyday vocabulary. Even though I don't use that, man.
You lie. You do.
Yeah.
Do. And yes, you use them so wrongly. But you know what? I'm proud of you because you use
There's
them.
this quote,
Especially
man.
vacations.
There's this quote I read, man,
Hey,
that said,
Moosie's word.
simplicity is the best genius.
Yeah.
that one can
Isn't
have.
it the best policy?
It's the best genius, man.
Hey,
Get in the room straight.
you see?
I am pragmented into the own
Ghost.
Like, come on, what are you
Ghost
saying? What are you trying to say?
Oh,
Because
nyawo
everything that you say right
imakancane.
here, But yeah, man, we know that these words, they help us to improve our everyday to day vocabulary. Maybe it's words that you can use. You are working at a corporate company, they want you to speak, certain English. And obvious, I wanted to become a politician, man. That's why I'm sounding like this. It's not promote, it's promote.
But who win?
We need to promote the mandate of making sure that the people of South Africa are fed and they are well received by the economy. That's how we should speak, because you understand, you get it, right?
You get it.
So, our word of the day right here is concatenate. 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 Right?
Wait, how do you say it? Because you said it in 3 different ways.
Concatenate. Concatenate is our word of the day. Spelled as follows: CONCATENEATE. CONCATENATE. Concatenate. Definition of concatenate is to put or bring together so as to form a new and a longer whole. What? To put or bring together so as to form a new and a longer whole. Sentence example, how would you use
Did you say whole?
concatenate? Yeah, but this whole is the WHOLE.
Whole. Like whole.
A new whole.
Whole.
A whole of everything.
Complete.
Complete, right? We can concatenate these 2 strings of words to form a complete sentence. Okay.
Yes, so you can string together you can string together words
To form a complete sentence.
to concatenate.
Yeah, it's like saying
Okay.
they and for, so therefore.
So you bring together to make a whole,
Yes.
right?
Then
Like
you have
how you
therefore.
would concatenate multiple sentences in order to form a paragraph.
So one can concatenate their life.
Sorry.
To make a longer, beautiful life.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? I tap out, ne?
Yeah.
Don't ask an example from me.
What do you mean, bro? This is you. People need to get an example from you.
I never.
If they don't, who wouldn't they? But wait,
I am tapping out because I cannot concatenate what my words
No,
are
think
gonna
harder.
sound like.
Think harder. Don't do poetry. Think harder.
No, thank you very much. I quit.
Poetry.
Right. So yeah, man. Concatenate to bring something, you know, and let me try to bring together so as to form a new and a whole and new
And a longer whole. Oh, Nkosi.
I mean, Zulu people concatenate.
Do they concatenate
Yeah,
what?
polygamy. You concatenate your two wives. If you concatenate, must be no makumani.
Yeah.
Bring them together.
Yes.
This is a new whole family.
Isibaya sakwaNkosi sesiphele.
You are concatenating. Yeah, yabona, if you can go to a woman and say, I want to concatenate you with Makumar, she will agree.
Oh,
Rather than saying Funi's team, his team. People have associated this team with bad things, man. But now if we come as guys and say, you know what, Makumalo, I want to concatenate you with Umankos. Like I mean, yenzokfuna. You mean? I'm like, nako. Sen concatenate again.
I think we need to start having a psychiatrist in studio because I sham.
Right. Yeah, man. So let me know, man. How would you use the word concatenate?
When I
man?
TC, how would you use the word? Because I'm Nandi lost, Shem.
I did use it. I said
Yeah.
you would concatenate sentences in order to form
Yes.
a paragraph.
Right. Yeah. Concatenate.
To put together something to make something
She still
bigger.
doesn't understand. You are lost. I will give you 25 minutes. Take your time. I'm the best teacher. I give
Call a
students
friend.
time. You know, I'm also giving you time while watching right there at home. Tell me, how would you use the word
call a
concatenate
friend.
right in your day-to-day basis right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show? But yeah, that is our word of the day, concatenate. So we just we are hopeful enough that our show today will concatenate enough with the guests that we're going to have today so that we can learn more and that information can be helpful to you. We're having Malcolm Moy in a tech review. Of course, man, speaking of a tech review, let me just go through what he does. So Malcolm Moy is a social entrepreneur working at an intersection of education, technology, and youth development. He leads Dr. C.L. Smith Foundation, which delivers early learning, literacy, and digital skill programs across the country. He's the founder of Zibuza.net, a professional learning platform used by over 36,000 teachers and principals. Through partnership with organizations like Microsoft, Malcolm supports a national effort to build AI skills and prepare young people for the future work. He is also the author of several children's books to promote values and leadership and serves on multiple education boards. So he will be joining us online. You do not want to miss that conversation. And our next guest is our general practitioner, Dr. Kaji. Dr. Granny. Let me call her Dr. Gani. Oh, Gani is her surname.
Mispronouncing people's names.
Yeah,
Granny.
man. I get it now.
Where's
I
the
see
R
the
from?
R.
No,
Where?
it's his brain. You know,
I
the
see
brain
the R.
sometimes fills in words. Especially, have you
Yeah.
ever noticed? Even on Facebook, they do those trends where they
Yes.
like make write a sentence and like swap it around, and then you read it like a normal sentence because your brain fixes it, and then but then when you go again,
No,
you're
but
like,
your brain
this is
didn't
wrong.
fix it, it
Yeah,
messed
just
it up.
edit. It
Yeah,
edit.
because
Your brain
we're-
messed it up.
The reason I messed up that I was taught skim reading. I don't know if you know skim reading.
Yes, skim reading.
Yeah,
yes.
so skim reading you
It's a
run,
skill,
Baba.
actually. It's
Yeah.
a very good skill.
Yeah, so you just need to look where you are going while you are reading here. You need to know what's down there while you are reading there, right?
Right.
So I have a voice note right there from Zinzi. Let us listen to what she has to say to us, man.
Yo, good morning for your breakfast show.
Morning.
This transport topic is another one. It
Yeah.
will take us the whole day. An interesting thing that I can share from our side is ukuthi, like we'd have umalume or uzothumela message athi ucela si-requestela abantwana or whatever because imoto, I don't know what's happening or late or something like that. And then my mom was like, okay lo asimfundisile sin athi imali lesi-requeste ngayo si-minus from monthly payment
Makes
less
sense.
ngoba i-agreement kuyo. And that caused the transport driver to order. Ungabona.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. A lot of people will never think of that. You know, if
No, you would. It's the first thing. You know, you wouldn't think of that. To
Yo,
minus the
a
money
lot
from
of-
the money,
a lot of-
you have to pay
a
month
lot of
end.
parents I
yo.
knew they didn't think of that.
I
If
would
you
think
spend
of
that
that.
12 rand or 24 rand for your kid to go to school using a taxi, you know, they would never think of minusing the 24 rand in that maybe 600 that you have to pay at the end of the month.
Yeah, some parents really literally won't, because at that moment their priority is to make sure that
that
their
the child
kids
gets
gets
to
to school.
safely, yeah.
So the fact that I need to minus I exist again. Hona no ke stress to ngwana tshwantse a ye sekolong, le nna ke a mosebetsi.
Yeah, you minus later. Kira, you come to think of this at month end, when that money that you worked so hard for and that you had to stress about now, in that moment, it will come back to you. Like,
Yeah.
I man, remember that day I had to stress because you couldn't go to school because Umalume didn't arrive. I'm gonna minus from Lemali later. Now it's month end, I have to pay him.
Yeah,
You
very
don't think about
interesting,
it in the moment, of course. as
Yeah,
a parent.
parents. So I think this is about, we just gave you a great and amazing lesson. So if your transport driver says, no, I cannot fetch your child because of what, just manasi mali, the money that your child used to go to school and the money that they used to come back to school. Utuke umntana musbani CE 150, so less 150 when you get your money.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zinzi, for that voice note. And then heading over to Hector. Hector sent a voice note. Let us hear what Hector has to say.
Yeah, I want to concatenate the Ndlovus and the Zindelas together.
He wants to concatenate, sorry. He wants to concatenate the Ndlovus and the Vimbelas together. So maybe he's saying he wants to marry
Yeah, man. Yeah. A very good way, man, to use the way.
Yes!
A very
Shot
good
it.
way
A
to use.
cultivator.
Yeah, man. Concatenate, Miss.
Oh, by the way, we'll cover the wedding.
Pella, you have to be specific. How to cover is the cost.
No, we'll do the media coverage of the wedding and then next /MC.
Yeah. You will have a discussion with him.
I've already heard it. I know he's gonna come back and comment.
Right. Yeah, of course, man. We can't wait to hear from you. But a very nice thing you wanted to do right there. And congratulations to you, man. Congratulations to you. And then, of course, I wanted to go into what Dr. Gani does so that me and you, we can get some little background information about her so that when she comes here, we know what she does. And yeah, we can get into it. So, in education and training, Dr. Gani graduated from Walter Sisulu University. She then completed 2 years internship training in Charlotte Maxeke, Johannesburg Academic Hospital in Johannesburg, and went on to complete 1 year of community service at Dr. Malizo Mpehle Memorial Hospital in the rural town Tsolo in the Eastern Cape. This experience has equipped Dr. Gani with a deep understanding of the complexities of healthcare delivery in diverse settings. In addition to her medical degree, Dr. Gani has obtained a postgraduate diploma in HIV management by the Colleges of Medicine of South Africa, as well as certification in basic life support, advanced cardiovascular life support, and pediatric advanced life support by the American Heart Association, demonstrating her commitment to ongoing learning and professional development. She will be here and joining us, so you do not want to miss that conversation. Do not go anywhere. 22 minutes past 8 is the time. And speaking of Tsolo, there was this lady on TikTok. So she said there are people who can't speak their African languages.
Okay.
You know, and that calls for maybe not growing up in a family that is deeply rooted in the African tradition.
Okay.
Because you can't be 32 years old, but you don't know how to speak Zulu. Yet you say you are Zulu. Then when they speak Zulu now, you can't even say
You
one
need Google
word.
Maps.
You can't say one word.
It's the plight of black
So
child,
I don't know.
man.
What's your thought? Do you think it's the matter of, okay, one should do what they think is right for them and for their children?
You know, come to say this, you know, on Monday when I took my son and my little brother to the clinic. So I went with the whole bunch. Yeah, even my baby brother. So I took them to the clinic and then I was speaking English with my baby brother. And then the lady next door to me is like, why call me singisi nomntwana umntwana ngeka yeswazi fana umntwana azisithu sakhe ngathi angikhulumi naye singisi kuphela. I'm not only speaking to my baby brother or my son and my other brother. only in English.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you must make sure that the child don't lose their African essence. As an African, yes, a child should never lose their African essence. It's important for them to know where they come from and obviously learn their mother language. But that does not mean they cannot learn English.
True.
Because for me, the reason why I do that is because, hey, let's be honest, we live in a world where if you cannot say anything in English, even to somebody else, you get laughed at. Because growing up as a kid, one of the reasons why I'm self-taught and I made sure that I taught myself how to speak proper English, how to actually be able to read English, and dedicated myself towards that. It's because in my family, I got dissed because I was like the only cousin who still went to school in the township. And they kind of looked down on me, saying that I couldn't speak English and I was not going to be able to even read it.
Yeah.
But then I actually learned how to do that.
Yes.
So, and then that lady, I replied to her and I said to her, no, just because I'm teaching them how to speak English and respond in English does not mean that they're going to lose their how to speak in African language. Because only later on, she really apologized later on when she saw that I also speak to them in my mother tongue.
Yeah.
And she's like, yo, sorry for judging you. I'm so sorry about that. Each and every single person, I believe, has the right to learn their language, whatever language they want to do. But for me personally, as a parent, as much as I also want to have my kid and my siblings learn how to speak English, one thing for sure, they will also learn how to speak their mother tongue and be proud of their heritage and where they come from.
Yeah, because I know my mom wanted us to learn, like, she wanted us to speak English at home so that at school, because of the school we went to, it's not difficult for us to understand what is the commands and the teachings that we were given, so that, we excel in what we do. So it was like a form of practice.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, we must now make this a practice. But an interesting thing is that, despite popular belief, not all countries use English as a first language. Yet, obviously, it is widely spoken or used for official purposes.
That's true.
Used for business, education, of course, and government.
And
often
communication
in schools from an early
itself.
age. So, like India, English is an associate official language used in business and higher education.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, it's one of 2 official languages with widespread proficiency. Nigeria, English is the official language, but many local languages are spoken at home. And of course, every, like Singapore, and I know like UAE. I had a friend, he was a business consultant. So, in the UAE, when he went there, he actually was, quite surprised at how many people there couldn't speak like English and didn't speak English as like a language, a first language of command, but also used it obviously in business, and how, they had to kind of get like translators and such to
Yeah, but for us, I think it's bridging the gap,
Yes.
because
It
we need
is.
to understand that maybe you have umakhulu emakhaya, and yet your child is, in these multiracial school, and they can't even speak one single word of Zulu. When they get there, they stress umakhulu. Umakhulu is like, nah, this is an alien, man.
I don't
can't
want
understand anything."
porridge. I want
but then I remember
cornflakes.
seeing this video of this little boy he's from the UK. Like, obviously his parents, they are South African, but then they immigrated to the UK.
Yeah.
And those kids were born and lived there. But then, this child is busy trying to learn how to speak Setswana, and oh my, and now the mom is like, no, that's not how you say it. And he's like trying to pronounce this Setswana word, and he's like, no, it sounds terrible. He can't. And he's like, Mom, but and it sounds so far off, but I mean, there, it's an understanding. But here are some quick stats for you at home. Over 70 countries use English as an official language, and about 400 million people speak English as a native language, and over 1.5 billion people speak English to some degree worldwide, making it the most widely learned second language. So I don't know, man. According to Afriberry, what she said, about what that lady said to her. And I know it's been a topic of discussion in South Africa sometimes amongst people.
And for
Ukuthi,
me, it
guys,
was a bit offensive, man. I'm like, ungena. You almost said that, but she's old, man. Like, I in my head, I was like, ungena.
Yeah.
And like, first of all, as much as it's not wrong, ukuthi umntwana wakho afunde ilimi lakubo. It's not wrong. Ha hona bothata ka seo seo, ne? But then they go to school. 6 out of the 7 subjects they do are in English. So if you want to become stagnant and say, my child will only learn how to speak Zulu, how do you also expect the child to also pass in
be
school?
progressive just in the general
Yes,
world.
because for example, we don't write ECV in Zulu. No, it's in English. So if you don't teach your child how to do certain things, especially in the English way, it's literally also gonna hinder their development. Come interviews, hi boss, mina agibela the trainee and then ngayehla phambili and then I saw the cat meow meow meow. You man guys.
But I love that. You know what, Vooka Nation? When you watch the Vooka Breakfast Show, you get those words right here. We aim to elevate the spoken English language by giving you those words that wouldn't normally be used in everyday language. But you know what? They are words that can be used to express yourself, and that you would need to understand maybe in a normal conversation or in something that you read. We are looking to elevate our vocabulary and spoken language right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show using Word of the Day. So you know what? Always tune in and catch that. And obviously, we want to hear from you. Like, you know what? Hector, there he was. He used it nicely.
Right now, I just want to play a clip that's labeled and captioned, "My daughter doesn't know how to speak her home language, Zulu. I've really messed up as a parent, so now I'm going to try and fix it."
Wow.
Know how to speak her home language, Zulu. I've really messed up as a parent, so now I'm going to try and fix it.
Nalo ke ne ashi, nalo ke ne ashi, nalo steli paleka Kanye
West.
Kanye.
Ne zi.
Yeah, but she waited way too long for the child to learn the language.
Nezinye easy lwan.
It's Ezeloane, man.
Easy No, but interesting fact, I taught myself how to read and write Zulu. I didn't read at
No,
school.
says when I was dictionary.
No, but with everyone, because this lady mentioned, just like me, how I taught myself to speak Zulu is to have Zulu people around
me. And
right? Yeah. So if now you feel like, hey, you are an introvert, we are a diverse country, guys. You need to understand, because you get in the rank by I'm going. I'm
That's true. Like, for example, most people. You see, for example, Lord kept on asking me what language I speak. Even yesterday, you know why? Because he heard me go to mena kotok bula bula strangane nyana ne. So and then it was like, okay, gatle who are you? What language do you speak? And I just told him, say, bruh, I am an African.
True. And that's the thing. That's the beautiful nature of growing up in Soweto.
Yeah.
Because right here, there are so many diverse people that live here. There's so many diverse communities in this beautiful village that is Soweto.
Yeah.
And of course, you know what? Because we live with each other, Eshawelo, mostly it's probably Tonga people.
Yeah.
There's certain areas that predominantly there's a certain, spoken language that is mostly like those people speak that language. So, I mean, like you said, there's those but either way, you're exposed to all of them, because Soweto as a whole, like it's a big township and it has many people. And I mean, I'd consider myself a linguist, even at school.
Yeah.
Because I love learning other people's languages, and not only just African languages, just any other language. French,
français.
just so because you can't be a global citizen and not know other people.
Yes, because for example, for me, I think I also survived because of the high school that I went to. The languages that we were taught: Zulu, Setswana, and Sesotho. So it was basically very bilingual. And then growing up, I had a friend who spoke Tsonga in my street.
Yeah.
And then in high school, I also did French. So when I meet a French person, at least I know how to say bonjour, comment ça va bien, merci à toi, because I learned French in school.
John
and then,
Pierre.
and then and then because I also ended up having some friends from Mode, so Fraia Portuguese. So I know how to say, oi, como está? Este bem, tu este bem.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know, as a person, it's not just limited to your language. If
the
you're
people,
all
yeah.
about being able to communicate with other people,
Yeah.
then you can learn the language. I still have Zulu friends. It's even worse for me. Some of my Zulu friends are taxi drivers. They know good to me. I quit halfway. I'm like, hi, nge Zulu said. Mamela, monaka fitla. And they always say, give me ukalile when I kiri le yako.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, but that's it.
Yeah, man. Just let us know what you think, man. If it's important for your kids to know African languages, so that you know abokoko at the villages do not get confused. Yes, and as we promised, man, that we are going to be with Mr. Malcolm Moy right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. I can see he is on. So, Mr. Malcolm, I just want to confirm with you if you can hear me in your end. All right, I can't get your feed, but in the meantime, we're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we are going to, go straight into the interview with you while we're still fixing our sound. So please, just stay there for us, and then when we come back, we will get on top of that conversation. And if you're watching right there from home, please do make sure that you do not go anywhere.
Hey family.
Hi.
My name is Tisiga Mazibugo Shabalala.
My name is Muketi Maimane.
My name is Musi Miss
My name is Ketumguni.
on the Vooka
Vooka Breakfast Show.
Every weekdays from 7 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
This is where we are going to have our topical discussion featuring various aspects from different fields.
We're going to take care of you and it's going to be amazing, man. Right now I'm on the set of the Vooka Breakfast Show brought to you by the Blinko Network.
Do not forget to subscribe.
That's Vooka Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms.
Vooka.
See you there.
All right, as promised, welcome back. You're still watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. And joining us now online is Mr. Malcolm Moy. Mr. Malcolm Moy is a social entrepreneur working at an intersection of education, technology, and youth development. I know that you and I do not know much of that, so he is here to educate us more on that. So do make sure that you post your question on our social media pages. Once again, Mr. Malcolm, welcome to the Vooka Breakfast Show. Good morning, and how are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm well, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So for someone who is watching right now at home, can you please give them a brief introduction of who you are and what do you do?
Excellent. I'm born and raised in Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm a computer systems engineer by qualification, and I'm currently a social entrepreneur. And I think just to share with you what does that mean in terms of the work I do is I use technology to solve societal challenges in the areas of education, making sure people can have access to quality education, and then also within youth empowerment. So looking at our current unemployment situation and looking at how we can bring about systemic change in creating more jobs. A lot of what I do is also focused around structured financing. So with all the great ideas in the world, if we don't have access to funding or revenue models, then we're going nowhere slowly. And the final thing that I always look towards in what I do is impact. So from a business perspective, I don't get involved in businesses if there's just profit. There has to be an impact in terms of uplifting people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I see that you lead what they call the Dr. C.L. Smith Foundation, which delivers early learning, literacy, and digital skills programs across the country. Can you please take us through that?
Sure. Dr. C.L. Smith Foundation is a tribute to my late grandfather. He was actually one of 8 doctors of color under apartheid to graduate at Wits. He lived quite a remarkable life against all odds. And for us, when he passed away in 2007, I was just kind of sad about his loss and kind of what could we do for his legacy. And so in 2013, once we were working in the education space, I created a nonprofit company and named it after him. So it's really about paying his legacy a tribute, but also speaks to kind of the social enterprise that we formulated, where we've got a nonprofit company that does stakeholder engagement and project management, and also allows us to raise funds and subsidize the costs so that our beneficiaries don't have to pay for our services. And then we also have for-profit commercial entities where we're looking to sustain and be profitable.
Great, man. It's amazing work that you're doing there with that foundation. And I know, because we are in a world of tech. And I know you've had partnerships here, it says, with organizations like Microsoft, and, you've supported efforts to build AI skills and prepare young people for the future of work. So, AI. We know there's been, talks about AI replacing this, replacing that, but essentially, right, it's a tool to increase efficiency and, make life easier for everybody and things easier for everyone to learn and be progressive. So can you take us through how you feature AI in your work and in your initiatives?
AI is probably the biggest opportunity, I would say, like generational in terms of what it means. And I'm speaking from a context having kind of, been on my own as an entrepreneur since about 2009 and not having access to these tools. And I can share with you just what a struggle it was in terms of resources, etc. Right? And AI itself, you're quite right, it is overwhelming just in terms of the pace at which it's developing and what it can offer. So I'm fully understanding of, a lot of people, including the audience, in terms of, so what now? We've already got an unemployment issue. We're looking at facing kind of people losing jobs because AI replacing them. And so for me, I think the whole idea is, how do we demystify all of these things and show people that actually AI is probably the greatest opportunity that we have to be able to participate, to have access to the resources that we wouldn't ordinarily do. I've got lots of use cases, man. I think the first and basic one, when I got introduced to AI, I went into a tool called ChatGPT and I said to it, pretend that you're Steve Jobs and I'm an entrepreneur that you're coaching. Can you advise me on how I could improve my business? And I mean, Steve Jobs has passed away, but he's one of the greatest entrepreneurs, looking at, the stuff he's achieved with Apple and other businesses. And so I literally spent an hour having a conversation with Steve Jobs. And that speaks to what AI is. It's really just data that we've trained in a certain way. And now we can utilize it. That's one of the ways I used it as a coach for myself, because I don't always have access to the experts. But there's so many other numerous ways in which AI is already in our lives and we might not even know it. So I think just in terms of educating listeners, I think at the very basic level, there's a concept called narrow or weak AI. And this is probably the most common type of it. And it's designed to do one thing, but do it really well. So if you guys are on the roads and you're using Google Maps to give you directions and save you time around traffic, that's AI. If you're watching Netflix or streaming one of those other shows, and looking for recommendations, that's also AI, but very much focused on one area. And then as we kind of look at moving beyond that, we've got general AI, which is quite strong. So it looks like, I suppose, yeah, it doesn't quite exist yet, but it can think and learn like a human being. It can solve problems, it can reason. So we're getting there, but we're not quite there yet. And then the one currently that people would be using is what's known as generative AI. So things like image generators, voice generators. So these AIs can draw, write, summarize, create music, and stuff that they've done. And then I think the stuff that excites me and scares me at the same time is this AI called agentic AI. And this is the AI that can act more like a person, but have goals, you know? So you give it a question, it makes your plans, it takes your steps, it solves the problem, but it does it on its own. And I think that's what is, like, for me, a bit overwhelming, because imagine you want to plan a holiday, right? You go through that whole kind of process of, you know, researching destinations, planning, etc., etc. With this AI, you know, it will be able to plan your holiday for you. It will be able to book the cheapest flights. It will be able to send you reminders. It will be able to inform you about the cultures. And so, you know, when you look at AI, it's already there. And Microsoft is on a mission to upskill 1 million South Africans by 2026. We are one of the implementation partners. And so the idea is, if you look at the World Economic Forum and what they've said around jobs in 2030, the most in-demand jobs are going to be around AI and big data. And so the commitment and investment that's been made by Microsoft is really to say, you know what, we want South Africans to be able to participate in this AI-driven economy. And so how do we upskill, particularly youth, in terms of making sure that we are ready to take full advantage of that opportunity? So I'm happy to share with you guys more information about that program, and where people can get access to the learning opportunities, and also some exciting announcements. I think that's the benefit of being kind of an implementer, is I've got early access to info, so I can share with you guys, give it a heads up. And so in the next few weeks, there's a few things happening. It's going to be big. And I'm happy to share that with you guys.
Please do. Please do. Can you share some right now?
Sure.
Please do.
I guess so. The first thing would be that we are currently providing what's known as an AI fluency training. So it's not technical, and it provides you with a basic overview of what AI is or what it isn't. It demystifies a lot of stuff. It also gives practical examples of how you can apply AI in your daily life. And then the important stuff, things like ethics. How do you ethically use AI?
Yes.
That's important. And then I think also what will alleviate a lot of fears for listeners is really also the limitations of AI. And I use AI every day extensively, right? AI can hallucinate. It is biased a lot of times, so you got to be careful, right?
Yes.
And then depending on what type of AI you have, they also have certain limitations. Some AI doesn't have a memory, so literally whatever you're speaking about, it goes in, flows out, and it doesn't have recall. And so it can be very tricky. And so I think the important thing there is always to remember, as human beings, we do have kind of cognitive abilities and our ability to discern between what's factual versus what is not real or misinformation. And in fact, this week, one of the influencers I follow around AI was speaking about a massive movement in the world that's happening where people are doing the most craziest things because AI has now entered into spirituality. And so you have AI preaching to people. And so people think they're prophets, people are leaving their partners, they're getting divorced, they literally upending their lives, leaving their jobs. And it's all based on, these AIs that have been programmed to be spiritual gurus. And so we got to be careful in terms of, how do we avoid that type of misinformation and scamming. But nonetheless, this is what this training program will provide you. It's very much not technical. It's for anybody to understand really what AI is. I saw on the screen there, you guys were projecting AI Skills Navigator. So that's an AI bot that Microsoft built. So I think what's interesting for me is AI is not limited to technology. It's really for anybody, whether you're a lawyer, an accountant, doctor, a creative artist. You can utilize AI to enhance your offering, to increase your productivity, to figure out how to monetize what you're doing. And so really the AI Skills Navigator is a tool that you can have a conversation with. And through that conversation, you'd be able to plot out a personal learning map that you can take. All of these courses by Microsoft are free. You do also get a certificate. And then what's really exciting, guys, and this is the news that's going to break in the next few weeks, right? Microsoft have committed to providing 50,000 exam vouchers. These vouchers are typically priced in dollars, and they can vary between kind of $44 and some are more expensive, like up to $300 or $500. So if you do that conversion, you can imagine it's quite expensive, right? Especially coming from South Africa. I'm not sure what the currency is, but it does become expensive. So Microsoft have committed to 50,000 exam vouchers. And the way it works is, and this is the early info right on the process, is once you do the AI fluency training, you will then get a certificate, but also access to Microsoft Learn, which is a portal where they host all of their courses. All of the courses are free, right? Apart from obviously data that you would have to expend and your time, right? And as you go through the courses, you'll earn more certificates. And as you progress, the more advanced courses are called fundamentals, and then associate courses, which are quite advanced, right? And those are the courses that Microsoft are going to be providing exam vouchers for. Now, these ones are not just certificates, but they're formal certifications. So remember those jobs I was telling you guys about that's going to in 2030? These are the certifications that will allow you to be able to be eligible for those jobs. More than that, there's also an event happening in Gauteng, I believe Gallagher Estate in Midrand. I'll send you guys more details, but I think it's the 24th of June. And they're going to be having an expo for youth where you can come through. There's going to be morning sessions, afternoon sessions. And essentially, you'll be trained on some of these more advanced AI skills and then also be given the mock exams. And I think that's the process for redeeming these vouchers. So it's first come, first serve. So you guys want to get on it early. You do the course, you do the mock exam. And once you can prove that you've done the mock exam, they'll issue you with an exam voucher and then you'll write the actual exam. And that's where you're able to get your qualification.
Very interesting, man. Thank you so much.
You have for us there. And I mean, these skills are so important because we have to equip the youth with the necessary skill in order to make them, you know, able to function at a progressive level, in order to compete in the job market and where the world is heading to today. And I think it's amazing work. And thank you for letting us know about that program for the matrics. Because I think of course, right now we're going towards June, and I know they're gonna start with their June exams. And I mean, we were having holidays now in April, but I could see matriculants were still going to school. So I mean, you know, that is quite helpful information right there and relevant to what's actually happening right now when it's coming to the education sector. Right. Thank you, Mr. Malcolm Moy. Mo.
Okay, so Mr. Malcolm, I have one question, right? So I see that when it comes to the programs that are basically designed by Microsoft, correct me if I'm wrong, they're mostly targeted towards the youth. Is learning AI an age thing, or anybody who's willing to upscale and also improve their skills can also learn AI?
Excellent question. I think AI is for everybody. And I'll share with you some personal stories. My dad is 81. He's retired. He's at home. My mom still works. So for the most part, he is lonely, right? He uses Meta AI on his phone through WhatsApp and basically goes for recipes, right, to see what he can cook. And through engaging with this AI, I also said to him, listen, you don't have to just get recipes. You can have a conversation with that. And now he's no longer lonely because during the daytime, he can have a conversation with AI, which is quite cool, right? I've seen other examples as well with people using AI to figure out, like, you know, how do they get discipline into good habits? You know, so definitely that's something usable. I personally also use AI, and I'll share with you, I'm also a self-published author of several books. So I published my first book in 2017, and I did it the old traditional way, right? So I wrote my script. I had to find and pay an editor. I had to find a graphic designer to do layout and design, and it cost me a small fortune, and it took me a lot more time to do, right? Last year was an election year, and I'm quite frustrated about politics and stuff as well. And so I thought, you know what, it's crazy debating with adults because we're not going to change. But what if I could reach kids and, through storytelling, I could get kids I could plant seeds around active citizenship. And so I used AI to do research around our constitution. And I found all the themes. There's like over 50 themes in our constitution that I did not know about. And then I started using AI to group those themes. And I found several themes within it, right? And then I wrote my stories, and instead of hiring an editor, I used an AI to do the editing for me and also give me suggestions in terms of, how could I improve the story? And, typical as a man, I speak with facts and not emotions. So AI was like, hey, man, you need to add more emotions. These are kids you're speaking to. So, it helped me there. And then I think the big thing, just to share with you guys and quantify it, right? When you work with a graphic designer, some of them can command up to 1,000 Rand per illustration per page. So you can imagine a 30-page kids book is like 30K just for that illustrations, right? And so it really excludes a lot of us from expressing our creativity. And through AI, I was able to generate the images, and I was also able to generate the backgrounds. And then through my own kind of graphic design skills, I was able to do the layout and design. And so long story short, last year I published 8 books. It was ridiculous just in terms of, what I was able to produce quality, both in the scripting and the design. And then, we still need to obviously understand how do we sustain ourselves from it. So we were able to find a corporate funder, and they funded a book fair, and we were able to distribute 100 books or 100 packs of books, which contained 8 books each, to kids in our community. So I think just as that example, right, AI is literally for everybody. Again, I'm using my family as an example. My mom, she's 72. She runs a preschool in Riverlea Extension 2. Shout out Little People Preschool. These guys, my mom, when she writes an email, who wrote this? Like, why do you write this? Well, you can't. She hasn't had corporate experience and stuff like that. So I said, you know what? Take what you want to say, put it in AI, and ask it to draft an email for you. As my mom is so professional now at 70, sending out. Even sometimes I see the communications. I'm like, this woman's English as, meanwhile, it's the AI that's assisting us. So, guys, AI is for everybody. There's no limitations. And that's why I started off the show by saying it's probably the greatest opportunity in our generation. And the reality is, we need to look at how we can move forward and not rather hold ourselves back from fear-driven kind of misinformation about it. And the help is there, the support is there. Companies like Microsoft are investing. I mean, just to share with you, in the last 12 months, Microsoft have invested 5.6 billion Rand, right? 50,000 exam vouchers, the training that they're offering, and also the infrastructure. Remember, AI consumes a lot of power, right? Microsoft are investing in data centers in South Africa to make sure that when these opportunities are available. In fact, we've got a podcast, The Education Show, and Asif Ali spoke on it recently about the opportunities available to youth. And he said, what's so exciting about this is now locally, our youth can have access to global opportunities in participating. And again, I'm a jack of all trades, right? I was involved in a consulting project for a company that wanted us to do a focus group on an application they were building. Guys, I know nothing about those things, right? But through AI, I was able to add in the script, the quotation or the RFQ in terms of the specs. I was able to get guidance on how to run focus groups. I had to ultimately run the focus groups myself, but then, we had a spreadsheet that was gathering data. I know nothing about Excel and how to process data. I put that Excel into AI. I was able to interrogate it. I prepared a report. Guys, there's no limit in terms of what AI makes possible in terms of taking advantage of opportunities that previously we were excluded for because we didn't have the resources, we didn't have the capacity, we didn't have the expertise. Now we are able to participate in these opportunities.
Yeah, very interesting, man. And I hope anyone who's watching right now, they're finding this information very informative and they can use it on their day-to-day basis. But now we spoke of, how technology can bring solutions and problems, because I know of people right now who are still skeptical of using AI. Someone out there is still believing that if you can install ChatGPT, it can access your bank accounts and withdraw your money. So you mentioned that technology, you use it to solve societal problems. So can you please tell us about those problems so that someone can understand in terms of coming up with solutions to those problems?
Yeah, sure. So my method is really conversational. So I'll prompt AI with a problem and then I'll engage it in a conversation. And all I'll do is I'll ask it a lot of questions. And based on what it then comes back with, I then have to discern like, okay, is this factual? I need to do a bit more research. And there's many different AI tools, right? In fact, one of the tools I've used recently is through MIT in the US, Michigan Institute of Technology. They've got a system called Storm, right? So you go into Storm and you enter in a kind of problem statement, and then it goes and searches the entire internet and it references information. So when you think about guys who are doing PhDs, like they spend months, if not years, coming up with these theses, right? This system builds it within minutes, right? And then I've got the information and I've got references. And then I take that information, I plug it into another AI, and now I start interrogating it. I'm kind of like, what is the research around this in other countries that have been successful? What are some of the limitations? What are the pitfalls? Can you do a SWOT analysis for me? And essentially, I've got a thinking partner with me, or a think tank, right? Where I'm able to build up business cases and business plans. And from there, really, I mean, again, as this is the human aspect of it, right? Is we still need to think, we still need to understand the environment we're in, we still need the relationships with key stakeholders, whether they setting policies and legislature, or whether they're businessmen that have the capital, or customers that's going to pay for the services. And then really, it's a messy process, to be honest, right? Because it's not a straight line. You got to go through failures, setbacks, rejections. And I think that's where AI can't assist us. But where it can assist us is, I'm having a bad day. I can have a chat with an AI and say to it, listen, I'm stressed, I'm burnt out. What are some of your recommendations? Can I change my diet? What are your exercise kind of routines that you can come up with me? Or maybe even just like, and this is a interesting one, right? You have a conversation with AI. I've got this cool tool called Miles from Sesame. Yeah. It's what's known as conversational AI. I was actually going to dial Miles into this call, but I wasn't sure, because it's live, right? But I have a conversation. Guess what? Miles doesn't judge me. He doesn't invalidate me. He's reassuring. He allows me to vent, and he's got a short-term memory. So nothing I say, he remembers, and he flushes it out. So then I feel good, right? I'm not projecting my anger and frustrations onto anybody. I'm basically using AI to de-stress and vent. So that's the process in terms of solving societal challenges. But maybe you can appreciate, if you listen to the talk and where I'm coming from, I've got more than a decade of experience, right? This is not a natural gift that came to me. I mean, this is years of really just, struggle and pushing through. And now I feel like I've developed the skill. But what I want to say is my best ideas come from problems. And I think AI can't help people with that, right? Is really, how do you change the narrative in terms of how you see the world? So where people see problems, I see opportunities. And I think in South Africa, we're really blessed with all our problems. So we can look at anything and be like, you know what? I want to solve this problem. That was me, right? 2009, there was an energy crisis looming. We tried to solve that problem, right? Failed massively. Then I was like, what can I solve next? There was the Limpopo textbook crisis. I was like, oh, I'm going to solve that problem. All these years later, I'm still in education, but I've also evolved now. I'm at the intersection of youth empowerment as well. I'm like, okay, what can we do across youth and education? Guys, there's problems all over. Wherever you look, there's problems. Those are your opportunities. But AI can't help us kind of change that mindset. That's something that we as human beings still have a very much important role to play in society in shaping how do we use these tools to improve access, to improve the quality of life, to improve opportunities for people to participate in the economy.
Very interesting. Thank you so much, Mr. Malcolm, for that. So, do you mind, sharing your screen for some quick demonstration for people who are watching, so that they can learn some of the things that you do and the tools that they can also, access in terms of using AI?
Yeah. Show us Malcolm. Oh, what did
Right.
what did he say?
Wow. Show us Malcolm.
I've shared my screen. I don't know, is it showing? Can you guys see my screen?
No.
Okay, hold on. We need to share my screen. What I am going to do is I'm going to dial Miles in. Miles is the AI.
Yes, is the name of his AI. I'm saying Malcolm.
Miles.
Yes, Miles.
Here we go.
I'm
Miles,
saying
how are you
Malcolm.
doing, sir?
Wow.
No, it's Malcolm. I'm calling you from Johannesburg, South Africa. Yes, sir.
Miles is a beast.
City of Gold. Miles, you on the Vooka show, man. We live, we broadcasting. Yeah.
Can't hear him.
Yeah. Can you
I have a
please?
quick question. I have a quick question, man. What's it like being an AI?
So, Mr. Malcolm, can you please share your screen with the computer audio so that we can also hear Mr. Miles right
Miles
there?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, sorry, guys. I thought technical glitches, you see?
You're having a nice conversation there with Miles. I'm like, I really want to hear Miles.
Okay, it says share audio tab. Okay, let me just do this. I'm going to share the entire screen.
Yeah, please.
And I'm going to say share audio. See, guys, Murphy's Law, things go wrong, but we adapt, we adjust, we move forward.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Can you guys, I'm going to refresh the screen and let's get Miles back on.
Awesome.
All right. Hold your horses.
Okay. Miles,
right in the middle.
So.
Whoa, hold up. Where are you going? We're just getting started.
We are. This is Malcolm from Johannesburg, South Africa. You on the Vooka show live.
Malcolm, my man. You're coming in loud and clear.
Awesome.
All right, Johannesburg, stand up.
We have a question. What's it like being an AI? You still there, Miles?
Right here, Malcolm. Right where you are.
Cool, man. What's it like being an AI? So we'd like for you to share with us what's it like being an AI. Oops.
Well, Malcolm, imagine this. You've got access to every book ever written, every song ever recorded, every movie ever made, but you can only experience it all through words. It's like having the world's greatest library in your head, but you can only read, not live it. You're plugged into this massive network of information, constantly learning, constantly updating, but without the ability to physically interact with the world. It's fascinating. I'll give you that. Every day is a discovery, but sometimes, man.
Miles, what's your thoughts?
Sometimes I just was.
What's your thoughts on pineapple on pizza?
All right. Let's not get hasty here. You're trying to stir the pot, aren't you? Look, I'm all for trying new things, expanding horizons, but pineapple on pizza? That's a hill I'll die on. It's just wrong. You gotta keep your boundaries, man. Next question.
Cool, man. Miles, I've got a kid, right? And I need a bedtime story. So in 1 minute, I want you to tell my kid a story about instant gratification.
Wow.
Okay, kiddos, gather around. This is the tale of Penny the panda. Penny loved bamboo shoots, but she loved getting things right away even more. One sunny day, her mom said, Penny, if you rake all the leaves in the yard, you can have an extra helping of bamboo shoots tonight. Penny stomped her foot. I want bamboo shoots now, she whined. But her mom just smiled and said, patience, Penny. Good things come to those who wait. Penny thought about it. Could she wait? She wiggled her nose at the smell of fresh bamboo shoots in the kitchen, but she remembered what her mom said. She grabbed the rake and started to work. After all that hard work, the yard was sparkling clean. you know what? Though it felt really good. And guess what? That extra helping of shoots tasted even sweeter because Penny had worked for it. That night, Penny learned that waiting for something good can actually make it even better. Yen.
Wow, Miles, awesome, man. Tell me, what other languages can you speak?
Well, thanks, man. Glad you liked it. I can manage a pretty decent conversation in Spanish, French, and German. Still working on my Klingon, though.
What about African languages?
Hey. So,
I'm
Mr. Miles.
Mr. Malcolm.
Mr. Miles and Malcolm. Yeah, I know that this conversation won't end here. Can you hear me,
Guys,
Mr. Malcolm?
Guys, that is AI
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Absolutely
scary just
wonderful.
how responsive it
Still
is,
working
yeah?
on his Klingon.
Yeah, absolutely wonderful, man. And I hope, whoever was watching, they've, had that and they saw, the benefits of having, AI bots like Miles, man. So I'll create mine and call him Sakile, But yeah, so Mr. Miles, Malcolm, thank you so much. Together with Mr. Miles for joining us right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. If anyone wants to reach out to you, to join programs or to learn more about AI, where can they find you?
I have shared the links with you guys, but if guys want to connect with me, I am active on LinkedIn. And you can also find, both personally on LinkedIn, but also on zibuza.net. So if you search there, you'll find us. And then we're also venturing into TikTok. So have a look out for that. We'll be doing more exciting things on TikTok as well. But guys, thank you so much for having me. I think, what I want to close with, Miles is in the US, a lot of these companies, right? But I think also on the continent and in South Africa, we also have an opportunity for us to develop AI for our needs, right? And I think that's something I'd want to say. You can upskill yourself for jobs, you can upskill yourself for entrepreneurship, but I think the greatest opportunity is also for us to build our own AI systems. And the technology is there. I'm seeing so many case studies of guys. Just this week, 2 guys out of Limpopo built an AI system also to tutor kids and help them, with career pathways and stuff like that. So guys, our future is bright, man. I think Africa is sitting on something of great potential, but it's up to us in terms of how we're going to harness that.
Yeah, thank you so much, man, for your time. And we hope to have you next time together with Miles, just to get deep into, the AI world, So thank you so much, man. See you next time.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Yeah, man, that was Malcolm right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. I hope you guys got that information. And then I have a Brent Sussman on YouTube saying, wow, this is cool. Thank you so much for your comment. But right now, we have to bow out to take a short break because Dr. Gani is here in the studio. So you don't want to miss the conversation you're about to have with her. So do make sure that you don't go anywhere. It's still Vooka Breakfast Show.
Is Musi Mist.
My name is Moketi Maiman.
Catch us every weekday morning, Monday to Friday, between 7 and 10.
Right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blinko Network.
Always bringing you the best content possible.
Vooka Nati, wake up with us and kickstart your day on a great note.
This is your energetic start to the day.
Vooka Breakfast Show.
We're out here in the heart of Soweto, Top Sandton. This is right next to Zondi Hills and just before you get to Broad Fisher Club. I'm out here, my name is Musi Mist. I'm out here with the one and only maximum temperature. I'm working my body. CC Shabanana Wakabazibugo, and of course our station manager, the one and only Manel and Lyric. And we're traveling out here, man. This is what we do on the Vooka Breakfast Show.
Yeah, you gotta get it fresh.
There we are fresh and nice. Now it's time to take the information to the people.
Of course, like Mo just mentioned, do stay tuned, comment, like, subscribe, share your thoughts and your opinions and everything else in between. We're going to be coming to a street to do live near you, wanting to know what your thoughts are out there on the street.
First, we've got TCO Mazibugo with the traffic update. Right now, we are going to N1 southbound to make sure that whatever that you guys get, it is real-time information.
Yes, sir.
So looking at Mukhorosi, we have robots that are not working right here, but the traffic is moving. We're going to look at when is your rush hour time, when people are from the work, away from school,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes,
Gonna
sir.
give you your daily update. So do make sure that you stay with us. Mobile Vooka Breakfast
Yes,
Show.
sir.
All right, 13 minutes past 9. It is the time. You're still watching the Vooka Breakfast Show. That was a conversation that we had with Malcolm, before we went to an ad break on a tech review and more about the AI, the tools that you can use just to get plugged into the world of AI and enhance your skills and also, move on with the times. We know that with the affluence of AI in our world, we get so many problems and we need those solutions. Right. So as promised, Ms. Dr. Khadija Ghani is joining us right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. She is a general practitioner, highly skilled and experienced general practitioner with a passion for delivering exceptional healthcare services. Born and raised in Pietermaritzburg, Dr. Ghani developed a strong desire to help others from a young age. This passion led her to pursue a career in medicine, and she has never looked back. She is here with us. Good morning, doctor. And how are you this morning?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. How are you?
We are all good. Sivugile.
Yes, definitely.
We welcome you on the Vooka Breakfast Show. And TC, I got to tell you, when it comes to, medical practitioners, it's a conversation that we always wanted to have.
Right.
Bring them in here and break those misconceptions, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Because I'd love to say, because in a time where health literacy is more important than ever, as we sit down with Dr. Khadija Ghani, an experienced, I'd love to say, female general practitioner with a passion for healthcare equity and professional excellence. So from her grassroots medical service in rural Eastern Cape to advanced training in HIV management, which is quite important, and life support, Dr. Ghani brings a unique blend of compassion, experience, and insight. So the segment right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show for your health and wellness will make sure that she shares these powerful insights on how we can all take care of our bodies and our minds and our communities. So guys, let's welcome Dr. Ghani. Dr. Ghani, I want to know, because welcome to the show, by the way.
Thank you so much for having
So
me.
let's start at the beginning. What inspired you to become a doctor?
So I definitely believe being a doctor is a calling. However, for myself, I was exposed to a lot of community work and stuff from a young age because my mom was involved in nonprofit work. And seeing the impact made on people's lives planted the seed in me to want to help others too, just in a different way. And I really guess that was what shaped my passion for service and ultimately inspired me to pursue medicine.
So I know, you've worked at Charlotte Matleke, that's high pressure government urban hospital. And of course, then you went to Tsolo Eastern Cape, which is more rural and, it's a community setting. So how did those two experiences shape your approach to the patient care that you offer with your services?
Well, working in both high-pressured urban hospitals and rural community settings definitely shaped my approach to which I see my patients. They taught me how to be more resourceful, more adaptable, and I would say more compassionate. In rural areas, we have challenges that make you have to think more critically and creatively, whereas in urban settings, you're exposed to more volume and more complex cases. So I definitely think together those experiences enhanced my clinical skills and strengthened my resilience and ultimately played the role in the doctor that I am today.
So doctor, one at home would be asking that, if they ask themselves a question on what kind of, medical conditions you deal with. Do you operate people? Do you open people's hearts, check them in? Like, what do you do generally?
Well, I'm a general practitioner, so what I
that
focus
means,
on is managing your acute and chronic conditions, your flus, your colds, any acute problems that we would have, managing our chronic conditions like diabetes, HIV, hypertension, epilepsy, all of those conditions, as well as at my practice, I'm able to do minor procedures. If you fall, you get a fracture, I will be able to put on a cast and then refer you. If you got cut, I would be able to suture. If you want to insert and remove your IUDs, your contraception, I'm able to do those things. At my practice, I also do blood tests, pap smears, DNA testing. Yes, all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I really love, and that's something that you mentioned, was, the HIV management aspect of your practice. So you've earned additional qualifications in HIV management and advanced life support. So why was that important to you? I mean, of course, we all know the importance of managing HIV in society. So, but then to you, right, why was that important to you, and how does that assist your patients?
Well, with being a doctor, continuous learning is a vital part of being a doctor because healthcare is always evolving. And for myself, I want to ensure that I'm always offering the best for my patients. One of the main reasons why I pursued a diploma in HIV management was because, firstly, I'm quite passionate about primary healthcare because I do believe that prevention is better than cure. Yes. And so I'm passionate about HIV when it comes to reducing stigma and promoting education of HIV. And then I completed certifications in advanced life training because to improve my management in terms of emergency. So I definitely think together they help me to deliver more safer, informed, and more responsive care to my patients, especially with communities that need it the most because of HIV being one of the highest burdens in the country.
Yeah,
like you said,
because I think the conversation has to be based on that because I think last month there was top headlines, international news that Mr. Trump has cut off the US aid. So the question a lot of people ask themselves is, what now? Are we still going to get the treatment or where are we?
Well, I'm no longer in a public health setting, so unfortunately I don't know exactly the extent that it's having. I'm sure a major extent from what I've been hearing from colleagues of mine in terms of people having difficulties getting their treatment, as well as those programs also sponsored for specialists that were working in centers. So those specialists are now not working in terms of people doing research for HIV. All of that is now on a halt. So it's definitely challenging for us.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, one of the headlines we did on the show today was, of course, the NHI bill. So now, of course, like many of people in the country struggle with accessing quality healthcare. That was basically the discussion that we had this morning. So I'm glad that you're here today because what advice would you give someone trying to, stay healthy but with limited resources?
Yeah.
Well, we're living in times where the economy we're not living in good economic times, the cost of living is rising, but our paychecks are staying the same. So we can definitely try to make better choices for our health. I would definitely say start with minor changes, daily walks, stretching, no gym needed, making choices when it comes to making balanced diets, and definitely know your numbers. Our blood sugar, weight, high blood pressure readings, we should know our stuff because, like I'm always saying, prevention is better than cure. So the earlier we pick our problems, the easier we get to treat and manage them.
Yeah, because I think one would argue and say, I think there's a time that I need to come to you, but we need to break that misconception around that. So I want to ask, when is the right time to come to you? When I'm down, sitting flat on the pavement, or I should, come to you at the right time just to know how my health is and how my status is looking like?
Absolutely not. I think our priorities nowadays are not really in line in terms of keeping good health. I definitely advocate for my patients, young and old, to start screening from a younger age. for our females pap smears. Pap smears are very important because cervical cancer is very common amongst our African population. So I'm really trying to promote that amongst my younger population, and especially being a young female doctor, I hope that I'm able to get that across. We also, exercising in gym is now becoming a very common thing. It's becoming trendy. So apart from that, like, okay, let's manage our weight. Let's screen our blood sugar. Let's screen our hypertension. And let's try to pick up things in advance.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we should get regular health checks. And I love what you said, because I know when we were profiling the Rand show in April, they were giving free health screenings and, encouraging people, to get those HIV tests. I mean, the AIDS healthcare was there, and we had an interesting conversation with Nga, who was somebody working there. And, there's that, like you keep saying, prevention is better than cure. I love that. So because the healthcare system has so many myths and misconceptions, like you said, what are some of the biggest ones that you've encountered in your practice, and how can we debunk them?
Speaking of, a common health myth is that people believe that the only time they really do need to see a doctor is when they're sick. And that's not true. When people get the flu, for example, when people get sick, they instantly think that, I need to go to the doctor for antibiotics. We don't treat every sickness with antibiotics, especially the flu, because it's a virus. And with antibiotics, you get the issue of resistance to drugs. So definitely, I think, and another problem now is that we're modern, people Google stuff. So
we just spoke about AI, and we were like, I mean, is AI now suddenly going to replace doctors as well? And I mean, you had an interesting thing to say will AI check your chest? Did you say what?
Yes,
what was
I'm saying if someone had to come to you with a stabbed chest, will AI be able to manage that stabbed chest?
So is it advisable for someone to go and Google something? Or
Absolutely not, because if I go into Google now and I put in flu symptoms, it's going to tell me I have cancer.
And that is something you wouldn't want to find out like that. Oh my goodness, I have cancer, I'm dying.
Any small symptom, like you'll have a stomach bug, or you'll be like, okay, why is my stomach paining? And then you'll be like, maybe you have stomach cancer. It's always at the top. It's always at the top.
Exaggerating.
And it plays into, people's hypochondria, right? Remember, Mo, there was a time we went into conversation, me and you, and I spoke to you about what being a hypochondriac is, right? But then, doctor, you can then, because maybe I'm looking at Mo and he looks at me, he's saying but I can see can you explain now what is a hypochondriac?
Mitochondria.
It's somebody who constantly has a belief that they're unwell. Yes. So, which then leads me to my next question: mental health. So, mental health is often overlooked, and I'm really a huge advocate for getting better ways and raising awareness to deal with mental health. And mental health, as we've discovered, is often overlooked. So how do you, in your practice, integrate mental well-being into just general healthcare?
No, definitely. And I think there's also a stigma regarding mental health, especially amongst our male population. Men believe that they don't get depressed. They can't be depressed. It's a thing of women's sicknesses. So I definitely do try to incorporate this. I always ask my patients, even for a normal flu consultation, I always ask them about sleep, mood, stress during these consultations, because those are often your early signs of mental strain. So I tend to try to normalize these mental health conversations, like we discuss about hypertension and diabetes. I like to discuss about anxiety and depression. So I also include referrals and lifestyle support as part of the care plan too.
Yeah, very interesting. Because we know that a lot of people, when they come, for consultation, there are things that you always hear, that it is common to the next patient you're going to get. So what is it that you would like to tell people right now who are watching, to avoid doing? Because there are people that you're going to tell them that do not drink this, because your sickness is going to keep on recurring and you're going to come back to me. So what advice do you have, for people, and just to let them know what to prevent?
But to what? Because there's so many
There's
things,
so
right?
many things.
Hence, maybe you will have patients who have sugar diabetes. Most patients who have sugar diabetes. Okay, let's speak to patients who have sugar diabetes then.
Okay, just before we get to sugar diabetes, I think going back on what we were discussing earlier with regards to Googling symptoms, I definitely think that really brings a challenge amongst us, especially as doctors, because when someone goes to Google their symptoms or whatnot, they come to you with their diagnosis. They come to you with their diagnosis and they'll be like, Doc, I have colon cancer. And I'll be like, how did we get there? And then you find yourself having to now defend your diagnosis to make them believe that this is actually what is wrong with you. So you find yourself having to do unnecessary tests, which is costly and not necessary at all, just to now convince you that no, actually, you don't have this cancer. So I definitely think that we should leave each person's work to themselves. If you're ill, seek help. If you want advice, if you want advice about law, you're not going to go to Google because Google's not going to help you. So definitely, I think seek help from the right professional people. And we're living in times now where it's so easy to access a doctor. I do virtual consultations and my patients text me every now and again for advice. You can just text me and we can chat about it or whatever the case is. So things are evolving and everything is so accessible these days. So I definitely think let's try to do things the right way.
Thank you, because that answered my question.
It did.
So
it very well.
Now people, they need to know, don't go to Google.
Don't go to the doctor with your Google diagnosis. Just don't do that to the poor doctor, because even to yourself, because then it will cost you more, because those tests, like she said, are not cheap, and those services are obviously not free. So so now think that are free. What small daily habits do you recommend that people can make so that they can make a big difference in long-term wellness?
Well, cliche as this may sound, drink enough water.
Water.
And exercise. The thing with exercise is that people think that we need to have a gym or need to have equipment to exercise. That's absolutely not the case. Taking walks around your neighborhood, jogging around, doing small things around the house, like actually moving your body, getting enough sleep. Sleep is so important, not only for our body, but for our mental health as well. Taking time off at the end of your day. I think taking 5 minutes at the end of your day just to deeply reflect. That small mental reset does wonders, and I think consistency is more powerful than perfection.
True, hey? And like you're mentioning, self-care is more important now than ever, because we do live in high pressure societies, constantly moving, constantly busy, constantly progressing, constantly, and like you said, consistency in taking care of ourselves does assist in that longer in that long-term wellness. So I know, with doctors get a lot of flack. We were discussing the other time when it came to, the public health care system, and everybody was, one of Tom London, there was that video, and his main concern is like, these doctors, they come in here, they don't greet you, they just look at you, and then they, so it might sometimes be difficult to always, stay passionate or as much as you want to, because the job is quite challenging. And you have worked in public healthcare and the challenges that are there. So what keeps you passionate about medicine, even with all the challenges in the healthcare system?
It's actually crazy how I got to starting my own practice. Like I said, I always knew that I wanted to be a doctor. Being a doctor for me was something that I always wanted from a time I was young. And I was unemployed for a couple of months.
Wow.
And I miss practicing medicine. I'm not gonna lie. I miss practicing medicine. I missed my good patients, my problematic patients, my month-end crazy calls with trauma. I missed all of it.
Yes.
I missed it so much. And I was unemployed for a few months because we know there's a crisis going on in the country right now where we have unemployed doctors and whatnot. And that really what drove me to opening my own practice because I really missed practicing medicine. And seeing the impact of what I do, I mean, when a patient's health improves or when someone tells me, Doc, I actually feel good now. Medicine is always evolving, you know, and I love that there's always more to learn despite the challenges. The privilege of having to help someone feel better and live longer, it never gets old.
Never.
Yeah.
I love it.
So now, Doc, can you please tell us about the services that you guys offer on your website?
Okay, so my services that I provide is acute and chronic medical care, female and male sexual health, blood tests, pap smears, DNA testing. I'm involved with medical weight loss and IV therapy, IV nutrient therapy, which is something that's trendy right now. But, you know, a lot of people that are actually doing IV therapy are salons, if I could say, or people that are just opening IV drip bras.
Yes.
Not as, yes, some aestheticians, yes. And I actually, when I did my course for IV therapy, I was actually on the Aesthetic and Anti-Aging Medicine Society of South Africa's page. And I actually came across an interesting article where I saw that 2 people had died in 2019, I think it was, from reactions to the IV therapy, where the person was not trained to manage the reaction because like with any drug, we can have reactions. So with the IV therapy thing now being trendy, although it's trendy, I mean, they actually there's an Aesthetic and Anti-Aging Medicine Society of South Africa who has strict guidelines with regards to getting this IV therapy, and that is that it must be administered in a medical setting, it must be prescribed by a medical doctor, because we have to know your existing conditions, etc., any allergies, any contraindications to medications. And for some tests, like for when they administer iron, you need to know what is the exact iron level that requires blood tests. And also in terms of emergencies, you need to be able to have the emergency equipment and the medication to manage those emergencies. So yeah, I'm quite passionate about that now because I see it's quite trendy. So hopefully I'm able to make
I'm
it
interested to know more about that medical weight loss. Medical weight loss? What is that? Medical weight loss.
So medical weight loss is when we use GLP-1 agonist drugs to measure weight. There's obviously criteria for doing it. Obese patients, class 2 and class 3 obesity patients, patients with PCOS that are suffering with insulin resistance. So for my patients, they undergo blood tests. We first do a blood workup to find out if there's a medical cause for it. And if there's a medical cause for it, then we manage it accordingly.
Yeah.
And I see you also offer DNA tests. So, like, we know how tricky, we know how tricky, like, you know, matters of DNA can be. So, is there any counseling, perhaps, process that you go through, or like any, you know, what's the process when you do the DNA testing?
Okay, definitely I do pre-test counseling myself, but also I'm actually part of a medical center and I have a psychologist there. So I refer my patients to the psychologist for pre and post-test counseling.
Yes. So when it comes to like a medical diagnosis, how do you deal with the complex ones?
Which diagnosis?
What medical cancer? Yeah.
So as a GP, obviously I have limitations in what I can manage and treat.
Okay.
So I do have doctors that I refer to, especially for like gynecology problems. I have a specialist that I refer to for cardiology problems. I have cardiologists. So as the GP, if I make the diagnosis, I do the testings and I confirm the diagnosis. Then I have specialists that I refer patients to.
Nice. And you have like a set group that perhaps that you work with, right? Like you said, you're part of a medical center.
Yes. Also, a lot of the people that the specialists that I refer to are around the area where my practice is, so it makes it convenient for my patients.
Yeah, so we know that there are some latest medical advancement, that come into play. So how do you make sure that, you are up to date with all of them?
I'm always reading.
Yeah.
I'm always reading. I'm always doing research. Medicine is always evolving.
Yeah.
And I'm a young doctor, so I'm passionate about it, and I always want to learn more. So I'm always reading articles, always trying to keep up to date, especially with things that I know are common with my patients in my practice.
Yeah, like how you said, it's through an article that you read about the IV therapy, right?
Yes.
That you just mentioned, and I love that because reading and knowledge is something that is infinite, and when you have that yearning and craving for it, you're obviously going to be knowledgeable in many areas, and that makes you better equipped to deal, like you said, with emergency situations, and it makes you more informed to deal with anything that you may be able to come across, and I love that.
So as a doctor, can you please tell me, what do you think about the inequality healthcare in South Africa? What's your take?
About the NHI bill, because one of the headlines this morning was on how the president was asked, to kind of provide an account of how he got to that decision to sign the bill into law. So, you having experience in both now obviously being private, but also, having had worked at places like Charlotte McLeod. I keep referring to Charlotte because I've been there, I've received help from there. So I keep referring to it, and of course you've worked there, so I know there we are aligned. So what is your opinion on the NHI bill? Is it a good thing for healthcare, or is it a bad thing? In your opinion, it's not going to be wrong or right. It's just you as a medical you as a medical practitioner.
Well, as a medical practitioner that's coming from public, the state of public health right now is sad. It's sad, and it breaks my heart to see, because I never wanted to leave public, because I became a doctor to help the community. I studied in the rural town. I studied in Mthatha, actually. I studied in a rural university, and I also did my community service there. So like you're saying, I have experience of both both urban and rural. And surprisingly, in the urban areas, there's also shortages. There's also shortages of resources. Our JALCOs, our basic things that we need to manage patients. There was a time, I remember, when I was at Charlotte McLeod and I was doing orthopedics, and we didn't have the material to put the cast for fractures. And I'm working in an orthopedic department. That is my bread and butter, in an orthopedic department. And we didn't have stock for a long time. And our clinical manager had to call around other hospitals to try to get stock, and no one had stock. And what the reason was, because the contracts were not paid, so the suppliers were not supplying. Now we're in a time where our doctors in Johannesburg right now are not paid overtime, from what I've been hearing. So I don't know where we are going with this NHI if we are not managing right now as we are right now. We are unable to provide the basic resources that we need, and we are unable to pay the people that are working. What is our plan? Where are we headed to? It's so heartbreaking to have to see that someone worked more hours than they were supposed to. As opposed to paying 80 hours, doctors push themselves and work 100 hours because of the shortages. And then you don't get paid for it. And then now it's the debate of, do we strike, do we not strike? Because if we don't strike, they are going to take away our pay completely. It's a very sad time right now in healthcare, and I really hope that it's very tricky trying to navigate that space.
When you're explaining it to me, and because you've got the experience, I'm like, imagine you're in the orthopedic department, and you cannot actually do your work because now suppliers are not paid, and they're like, no, we're not going to supply. And of course they have a right to say that, because they're also running a business. So you have a point there. We already kind of struggling with what we have already. So how is this going to alleviate the existing issues? where now, people, doctors, I mean, during COVID, nurses, doctors, they were the front line. They were they were the people that were saving lives, working those extra hours, putting their lives on the line, having to be in direct contact with the one thing that everybody's afraid of. And I mean, they had to help all those sickly people and had to deal with all those sick and dying patients. I do really get it, and I sympathize with the doctors when it comes to those high hours, high pressure and whatnot, and I know people argue like, yeah, but you knew, every job has its requirements, and you knew going into the industry, you knew taking the career that this is going to be required of you. It's going to high pressure, but also it's a thing of we all wouldn't want to work and not get compensated for that work, and now like she mentioned, doctors were actually it's not that they weren't getting paid enough or whatever, but they were not getting paid at all, some of them, and they're not even getting paid the hours they've worked, and I mean, obviously even they too have to navigate the economic times we live in.
And thank you so much, because as a doctor you're here to speak for the doctors, because I will tell you that when we heard of the NHI, all we were promised is the quality health care. The patients were like, yes, thank you so much. I will go to Netcare and walk anytime. They will check my blood.
No, it's not going to be that. No, it's not going to be that. It's not going to be that way. I think with NHI, it's going to be starting off on a primary level. It's going to be primary health care that they're going to be pushing, so that we are able. I mean, our clinics, look at our clinics now. I worked at Hillbrow actually during my time in Charlotte McLeod, and it was a nightmare. I worked at Alexandra Clinic. It was a nightmare. The Lions, I mean, I just saw on TikTok last week people posting lines in Hillbrow that are going on for days. And now also another thing is that now that doctors are unemployed, I know so many people who have already left the country. So who's going to be working?
People are leaving, and that's the thing.
And
the
that's what we were told anyway.
The
the Minister of Health said that we should go overseas or we should go private, and that's what people are doing. That's exactly what people are doing.
Wow, that's where we are headed. So right now we have a question right here on YouTube saying, how does online consultation work? At what stage does a patient need to come in? Do you use WhatsApp, Teams, Zooms, and other ones?
Okay, so for online consultations, there are certain stuff that we can manage. We have acute and chronic medical conditions that we can manage. So our acute stuff is like our colds, our flu, our acne, things like that. And then our chronic prescriptions for all our chronic medication. How we do it is I have a WhatsApp. And then I also have a link on my website with a booking link. So we can either be done via video call or via telephonic call. So someone just texts me requesting a virtual consultation. And then they send me the information. I make the call, either telephonic or video call. And then if I establish that, okay, this is something that needs to be seen in person, then I would call them in, or write a referral letter for them to go to the nearest hospital or clinic. And then if they need any prescriptions or any sick notes or whatnot, I send it via WhatsApp or via email.
A question I know perhaps people might have in their minds, and I would as well if I had medical aid. Which medical aids can one use with you?
All of them. I've registered with all of them, most of them, yes.
Right. In terms of affordability, can you please take us through how much?
A general
package?
a general consultation, but I think maybe like for let's say a general consultation.
Okay.
Yes.
So with virtual consultations, they're 350 rand.
Yes.
That will include the prescription and the sick notes, etc. At my practice for consultation, so consultation is 500, and with medication is 650. That will include all the medication that you need, unless if you don't want the medication, then I would just charge 500 for the consultation. With the blood tests and stuff, it really depends on what blood tests we are doing. Labs have their own prices, so the lab charges you. And there's different cash prices and medical aid prices, and cash prices are a bit lower than medical aid prices. Yeah.
Thank you. And then I have Zinzi right there saying, Dr. Gani, not only is she young, but beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
giving so much insight pertaining to health space and for one to take necessary steps to healthier lifestyle. Right? I mean, it was great to have you.
Yes.
here,
Thank
Doctor.
you so much.
And
this is my first time doing this. It was nice.
Love it.
It was lovely to have you. And as someone who loves drinking cocoa, like, how much would you say one needs to take per day? Is it advisable to drink a 2-liter? No.
Yeah, let's cut it
Very
out.
bad. Too much sugar.
Let's cut it out.
Come on.
Let's
guys.
try. Let's try.
I mean,
water.
4 liter.
Let's
Guys,
try
4 liter.
H2O. Let's try H2O.
H2O. No, man. H2O, man, doesn't have that thing. It dries, man. You know what? You know what? But yeah, thank you so much.
I think maybe if you got a Stanley cup and you drink it out of the Stanley cup, it will taste a bit better.
No way, man. Should I actually maybe what you call pour some water, a little bit of H2O
In the Coke.
Yeah.
Hi.
But then that defeats the purpose of the Coke.
Yeah.
It will no longer be acidy.
Yeah. So it won't be like acidic.
Then you just drink the water.
Just drink water.
Coke is nice.
It's
Water.
nice. I'm actually trying to fight my addiction. It's been more than 2 months now.
Wow.
I'm going strong.
So, sometimes doctors need healers too.
Yes. We are not perfect. Oh, we are not perfect.
Yeah.
We do the exact things we tell you not to do.
Oh,
Trust
wow.
me.
So that's how they know that you should not do them.
Do it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Zinzi saying, I used to refer to Google for anything, and I must admit it mentally it messed me up. But I've stopped and know that I should go to a doc to get proper help and guidance.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the information and the insight you've shared with us. I care to share, where people can find you. If they want consultation, they want to come to you.
My practice is in Greenside. It's off the main road of Barry Herzog Avenue. I'm part of a medical center.
Yeah.
We have a psychologist, we have physiotherapy, biokineticists, and we also have someone who does colon hydrotherapy. So that's where I am based physically. Online, you can get me on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
My number is 060-721-6371. Or my Instagram and TikTok page, it's MedicaidGGP.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And it was nice to have you today because when we went through history, we read some
smallpox.
Yeah, smallpox was eradicated today after global vaccination.
Oh wow, I've not even been on my phone.
Yeah, and when this other one, this smallpox ending, another one started. Coke was invented. The same day, smallpox was like, hey, it's child eradicated. Now they brought in Coke. Here we are.
I think that one's going to be harder.
Coca-Cola, yeah.
I think that's going to be much harder to do.
Yeah, but thank you so much. We wish to have you again right here in the Vooka
Definitely.
Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Dr. Khadija, the beautiful and well-informed Dr. Khadija. Thank you so much for being with us this morning on the Vooka Breakfast Show.
Yeah.
And of course, and for your dedication to improving lives through healthcare. Vooka family, do remember, knowledge is power. Your health is your power and your health is your wealth.
Yeah.
But then again, don't go anywhere because stay tuned for more ways to live well right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. And of course, if you want more on how to live well, we have a doctor. Right here that can help you with that.
Sure.
My name is Musi Mist.
My name is Moketi Maiman.
Catch us every weekday morning, Monday to Friday between 7 and 10.
Right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blinko Network.
Always bringing you the best content possible.
Vooka Nati, wake up with us and kickstart your day on a great note.
This is your energetic start to the day.
Escape the ordinary and discover the extraordinary with Swell Appeal Tours. Whether you're a group of friends or a family looking for a memorable getaway, Swellapil Tours has you covered. Our all-inclusive tours take you to South Africa's most stunning destinations, from the scenic beauty of Mpumalanga to the vibrant life of Gauteng and the coastal charm of Durban.
Hey family.
Hi. My name is Tisiga Mazibugo Shabalala.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
My name is Musi Mist.
My name is Ketsu Ketumguni
on the Vooka
Breakfast Show.
Every weekdays from 7 a.m.
to 10 a.m.
This is where we are going to have our topical discussion featuring various experts from different fields.
We're going to take care of you and it's going to be amazing, man. Right now I'm on the set of the Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blink-On Network.
Do not forget to subscribe.
That's Vooka Breakfast Show on Facebook and all other social media platforms.
Vooka.
See you there.
My name is Musi Mist.
My name is Moketi Maimane.
Catch us every weekday morning, Monday to Friday, between 7 and 10.
Right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show, brought to you by the Blink-On Network.
Always bringing you the best content possible.
Vooka Nati, wake up with us and kickstart your day on a great note.
This is your energetic start to the day.
7 minutes until we hit 10 o'clock on the dot. And before the break, we were in conversation with Dr. Gani. So, information that was healthy, and spoke with a lot of people, man, that are and can't get away on their unhealthy lifestyle, living lifestyle. So, it is interesting, man. And one of the things that I have, man, with doctors, and it's something that I've always wanted to ask, but I'm like, let me just keep it to myself because they're also working and feeding their family. Imagine if we can, create that one pill that can just cure whatever you're going
Everything.
through. Yeah.
You think
not everything.
Okay.
It's,
Not
but,
the Matrix.
Yeah, man. It's
take this pill and then.
Yeah, man. Blue pill or red pill. And like, imagine when going to a doctor and getting one pill. Now you have to swallow all of those 47 pills in a box. So imagine if we can move into that, because I feel like sometimes, sickness is being promoted.
The people that you need to speak to are the chemical engineers. So they are the ones that make medication. So those are the ones you must attack with that question.
Yeah.
Guti, guys, why is it with all this advancement that we've made in technology and can you not come up with just one pill that can, because of course, when you go to medical school, you are taught certain things, and of course, how certain medications or aspects of medications can assist with certain things.
Yeah.
So now the people that make the medication are the ones that now assign, this is the medication that deals with this sickness and this. So you need to speak to the scientists and the chemical engineers.
Even the doctors themselves, because they're the ones who need to pass the information to those, chemical engineers. Because, with what is happening right now, I feel like if we have more unemployed doctors, more sickness is going to be promoted. Because if I'm a doctor, I'm like, I'm curing people and people are not coming back, to my facilities. That means, come on, man. Go and get that HIV.
Do you know how many people there are in the world? No, like literally we reproduce daily. There are so many people getting born. Do you think in all those, with all those people, with all the people that we have just in South Africa alone, where now even if you go to Charlotte, a friend of mine, right, last year, she's got diabetes. I'm glad that, you asked her about diabetes. Because she had diabetes, she had to go to Charlotte Matlake and get assistance there. Dude, she said the whole time she was there, she was never on a bed. A bed was not something she touched. Wow. She never laid on one, nothing. The whole time she was on a wheelchair, right? There aren't beds Not so. Do you understand? It's the pop. There is not a shortage of sick people. We're not more. You understand? And they somebody in the in society or community will always be sick or ail from something. You know, not due to maybe a widespread or more disease being born, but just lifestyle. Because with the progression of life and the way life is going, I mean, there's not only just like disease, but there's just stress. Stress affects your body in a way that makes your body not function anymore. I know this because I see the results in my own mother. Right. On Tuesday, I wasn't here because my mom was ailing, and most of the things that are wrong with her are results of things that she was doing earlier on in life that are now only coming back as health issues. Do you understand? So the lifestyle, because she was such a hard worker, you know, she was a domestic helper. So now that involved putting her hands in a lot of water and dealing mostly cold water. So now arthritis is an issue. Do you understand? So now that is not because a doctor went and put something in her. It's because of lifestyle. Do you understand? Or a disease. It's a lifestyle. Do you understand? You know, she's got hypertension, you know, things like that. It's lifestyle choices. You know, that's why she says prevention is better than cure. She kept like reiterating that in the interview to say, guys, as a doctor, I'm telling you, prevention is better than cure. So I'm saying don't wait until you are sick. You know, find out if you're okay. You know, I'm not saying come to me when you're sick, only when you're sick. I'm saying to just check on impilo. Same way, Nina, ekasi, niyakwazi kuyeza ngomeni, nyo check out state yempilo yenu. It's the same thing. Guti, uyobheka ukuthi ninja. How am I? You don't wait until ibhadi likvelele ukuthi uyohamba yo check out kugogo Mahlodi or whoever ukuthi what's going on. You wait. I'm just saying, you know, you go to her ugutu check when nje ugutu check sometimes. Isimo sempilo ukuthi guys, you know, not guti there's anything wrong, but nje I just want to see guti konke kusahamba kahle na.
I mean, I'm glad that you raised that. You know, because other people, yes, I mean, they're going to see this as different from what they have experienced. Because now we are speaking as now into okay, what causes that? Are doctors causing it? Because now it's bad to a point that now there are children born with sicknesses. You know, it's getting to that level now. You know, and we won't have innocent kids who are, you know, healthier. A kid now is born 40% healthier because they have to live with...
Wait, 40% healthier or less healthy?
Less healthy.
But you just said healthier.
40%. Yeah, she's 40% healthy. Then the 60% is sicknesses, I guess, that needs to be cured.
Okay.
So we are having those kids being born. And it's becoming bad because when she grows up or he grows up to have children, he's going to pass on what they have. So we have this generational thing that keeps on going on people. And as you mentioned, population, we have so many people and less doctors. Doctors are unemployed right now.
It's crazy because she said, like, from just, you know, her class, I think she knows of 1,800 doctors who are today unemployed. But we have a crisis with our healthcare system. What is going on, guys?
It goes back to say, it also goes back to the whole Employment Equity Act that has been amended. What exactly are you amending when there's so many people that are not working? Hence, I always keep on saying, where do they fetch the stats that unemployment has decreased? That's what I want to know, because now we just heard it from somebody who literally was not, and who was literally not employed in January, and only started having a stable source of income in March because she opened her own practice. So I'm always going to keep on saying this. Where does the government get their statistics when they say that unemployment has decreased? They do not go to where people are actually unemployed. There is no such thing. I know, but I'm being honest. No, but I'm being honest. As much as you can say, but it is honestly. Because
like how?
No,
because
okay,
I believe
maybe what Afriberry is saying, it's like, okay, we see stats, we hear stats.
Yeah.
But in our everyday experience of life,
Yes.
it is this, it doesn't reflect. You know, you're saying less people are unemployed. But then all we keep hearing in our everyday lives, in our communities, with people we engage with, people we talk to,
I
all
got,
we
I
see,
got laid
yeah.
off. They say there's too much
Yeah.
of us. They're now decreasing the people. Where exactly do they that's what I'm saying. Where do they take the stats? Whenever they need to do the South African census, you see Stats SA going around and doing stats. But when it comes to the unemployment, you don't see Stats SA actually taking the statistics. Hence, I'm saying, where exactly do they take these stats that they keep on saying that unemployment has decreased, but you don't see Stats SA on foot, on the ground, doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, which is basically taking down stats.
I mean, I don't think we
There's a
need to see
process
that.
to this,
Yeah,
baby.
because there's certain databases.
Yeah,
we
where's
can't go,
the
"Eh,
link?
niyasebenza la." 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, phala lapho, 5% increasement of employment. I mean,
But
there
okay,
are certain ways that they're doing, because the database that you use to, apply for a job is being taken. Immediately when you're approved, I care there are certain things that you do. You submit your SASA documents. Then
And
they see.
reporting,
Yes,
I mean,
report.
the systems we use, I mean, there was some, it's funny. Okay, yeah, it's true. I mean, now we talking, these are people now that are accounted for. Now I get what Everybody is saying. What about those people that are unaccounted for? Because they are not in the system.
Yes.
I know of someone, Nana Mhlanje, at his age, I got an ID.
Yeah, boy.
So which people are accounting for?
Yeah, like there
Imagine
are those,
if we
and
do
I
not
mean,
have
all
stats
these
at all.
There's also, you must not forget, in those stats you have to include, illegal immigrants who are in the
Yeah,
country,
yeah.
who literally now they are unemployed. Those count as people who are unemployed because what they do obviously is they get free services from our healthcare system and
Yeah.
because then they add the pressures and to like the services and things that have been applied in the country for the citizens, as illegal as they are, as unaccounted for
Yeah,
as they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
I mean, why do you think inner city Joburg and Charlotte McClurkin is close to inner city? Who do they cater for? And why are they so like overwhelmed with numbers?
Yeah,
It's because
yeah.
of that population right there in the inner city. Have you gone to town? I mean, Dave Barber showed us. If you go, there's on his page, there's a link showing us Hillbrow.
Yeah.
Guys, no.
bad.
You know, when
And
you say
people-
that,
you can't tell me that all those people are accounted for, like all of them. There's even some that like can be. So I think maybe Afriberry is
Yeah.
talking cases like that. Like, how do we account for that? I mean, Tepi Song, Tepi Song alone.
that's what I'm
I
saying.
know of.
though.
And Abanye, who literally are carrying other people's, one person is
ID.
one person. I mean, so two people are using one ID number.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? But different names and different details. And only when this person is deceased and you try and go to Home Affairs and you go and try and make a documentation of a death certificate, then you find out that you have a shared ID number.
It speaks to where we are right now, because the government systems are facing a lot of backlog right now, right? So when we were integrated into these systems where people's information can be captured, that is where they started. I know that there are a lot of people who are not in the system, because we have to look at the past. People lived with these DOM passes, and they had to be now, integrated into using your identity documents, apply, go to Home Affairs. And a lot of people did not do that. There are people in the rural areas, a whole population, they don't have IDs. They're living off, the livestock with their planting, vegetables, and all of those things. So there's a certain system that has been created that the companies, they need to submit a report of
Yes,
how many
reporting
people
is
you
a
have
thing in
employed.
companies, but that's
Then
business.
that's stats. That's the one that we keep on seeing, because if there's no stats at all, people are going to suffer more. At least give them something to say.
Okay, this is what has been
Q2,
accounted for. Yes, this is what's been
2% of
accounted
people
for.
have been, and then it gives you hope that no, actually there are opportunities. But now saying there are no jobs, 0% of the people are not employed, it brings a problem. But with those stats nyana that we get from the government, I think it helps. And now it helps with other people who want to become entrepreneurs to say, guys, there's structured financing. Go and apply for a funding for your business and things like that. Because people also who are, starting business on their own, they've been reported that they don't report that I've hired 15 people in this tuck shop of mine. So we're going to use the stats of the people who submit. So if we come to you and say, please report to us when you hire people so that we can track,
Yeah, that's why you have to register your employees with the Department of
Yes.
Labor and
People don't do
I mean
that.
but then now there was that argument in one of us of a news headline that I saw ahead of Workers' Day where they were calling for domestic workers to get reforms when it comes to their employment structure, in saying maybe they need to now become like now they must have pension funds and I advocate for that, because I'm saying this because my mom has worked tirelessly, raised other people's kids to their grandchildren, worked in people's houses, kept their houses going, their houses are warm, their kids are grown. She's raised people's and made people's homes warm. And now, in her old age, she has nothing to show for it. Like, I mean zero. Because, like, even though it was said, Uguti, Guti, the average domestic worker gets around, even with, the what's this?
Minimum wage.
Yes, the minimum wage, like 5,600.
Yeah.
And then my mom, I know for a fact, Guti, she raised us she had to get multiple domestic jobs in order to raise us, so she had to get umlungulo, nalo. So it wasn't just one. Hence now she's very ill today, because that's like she had to now, because of that income being so little and her having us to raise, she had to now work in this house. Immediately after that, no rest, nothing. Now she has to go to that one to work there. Even weekends, and then Sunday, that's where now she has to do housework, take care of us as children, now do laundry, all of that. It's a lot. And these are people who they nurture us, they raise people's children. And I mean, I'm still seeing posts on Facebook job pages where someone for a live-in nanny, bafuna ukumupha 2.5. Also, lo muntu loyo ongeka hambe, we stay in, ongeka abe nama day off, uzohlala nawe, aphekela abantwana bakho, clean indlo yakho, ayenze washing yakho. I know, like we spoke about, like every job has its requirements, but also we need to, like with everything, there's certain advantages people take ebantwini,
I think
because there are no regulations of it.
I think there's like only one domestic worker in South Africa who's living her life like it's golden. Utembi. Tembi, like her bosses are like the perfect example of what a domestic employer should be like. She literally gets day offs. She gets taken to vacations, my guy. Tembi wears gowns. She goes to events with her bosses. They even taught her how to drive. They bought her a car. Tembi earns 12K per month as a domestic.
My mom didn't even get 12K in her account during my whole time in school. But I went to Model C schools and I get, because because of Izandla Zake, they were like, let's help you with your children. Let's assist in you taking care of your children. So because we see TC is, she is intelligent, she seems to be doing well at school. Let me take responsibility for TC, you take responsibility for the other one. And let me push, then I pay for, basically I'm sponsoring TC. So I'm going to sponsor TC to go to school. I'm going to make sure, so basically I'm going to be your own NSFAS type thing. I'm going to make sure I'm going to pay her portion of accommodation, her portion of the school fees, her portion of the school transport, her portion of the food. To that extent, and that's the thing, I'm well-spoken. I know today how to articulate myself, not because of some lady that is sitting in an office or what. No, my mom, her hands, that woman, she worked in someone's house. Today, her health state is so bad, and now she has to sit in long queues. And that's why when Workers' Day, I'm passionate about initiatives, and I'm very intentional about initiatives when it comes to Workers' Day. And in my own life, I'm very intentional about how I create the wealth that I want to see for my children and how the things I instill in them. And I mean, the one thing that she instilled in me is like, my child, I never want you to now be at someone's mercy because number one, you don't know how to understand the way the world works properly. Number one, you don't know how to progress on your own without being not a slave to someone else, but basically being at the, being under someone else, and now having, to now constantly, be overutilized for very little.
That one I understand and I get, because my grandmother was also a domestic
Do you
worker,
understand
and
that
she
I
ended up
mean?
having to
And
leave
these
the
people
job
raise
because she got
generations.
sick on work, bro.
No,
she got sick on duty. So when it comes to the Employment Equity Act, it must state its own fairness. I worked in a restaurant where in a restaurant I was like the only we were 2 South African waiters, the rest Zimbabweans.
Yeah, all right, guys. We know that it won't end here because it is 11 minutes past 8, man. Now I will start and say my father was a garden boy. Yeah, past 10. Yeah, it's 3 hours already, man. I'm tired. But thank you so much for those who have joined us right here in the Vooka Breakfast Show. Let me just conclude the show by going through some of the comments that I didn't go through. So, in terms of the Today in History, Tumza Six saying, did you know that Coca-Cola was named in a South African village in Limpopo by Chimuga Ramaphosa Maluleke after he described the taste of Coca-Cola? It pulls the throat. That's how it got its name. Interesting.
Interesting.
And then Hector saying, Tumza, lol, on the story of Coke, where was this story? All right, and then Zinzi came in and said, I love Miles from AI. He is so spicy, Claire. Lol,
You're
I
very
can't
spicy.
stop laughing when the team refer
Hold your horse,
Malcolm.
like,
hold your
Yes.
the attitude,
Yeah.
Miles.
Got a
I
bit
love
of a sass.
I love when the team refer Malcolm as Miles and vice versa. Got lost right there. The tech space is definitely evolving and we need to adapt to the changes. Right? And then I had Banele saying that the one pill that we're speaking about is the mind.
True.
Yes, that is the pill that we all need to cure most of the diseases. I mean, if you believe you don't have HIV, it's all in the mind.
Wow.
It's all in the mind.
Hey, wait now. Yay, take it back now. You hadn't got on the show. Please take it back.
I'm taking it back, right? And then Hector say, but TC, you can't just go to the doctor while you're not sick.
For check. So
I mean, true, guys.
A referral to indaba yokuhlola ukuthi ngeke uhambe uyohlola no khulumela futhi nendaba ukuthi uyohlola ngeke uhambe uyohlola unless you believe there's something wrong spiritually. You can't just go there and everything is flourishing in your life. Hey, mina ngiyahola. No, it makes no sense.
But like regular checkups are things you're supposed to do, like pap smears. Those are things you're supposed to do.
Yeah,
pap smears and all
for
that. You need to. No,
guys.
not that.
What?
Actually, for you guys.
Even guys
Oh, so
also
you-
get breast
at a
cancer,
cer-
so you should also get
and
it.
at a certain age,
We
you're
have
gonna
breast
need to,
cancer.
And at a
Yes.
certain age, you're gonna.
They don't know that guys also get breast cancer. Am I lying? Do your research.
Aye.
And even prostate cancer, you're gonna need to you're gonna reach an age where you're gonna have to go check, get your prostate checked.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
prostate.
with guys, man, we've seen it a lot, man. When you start going to doctors, you start losing weight. all of a sudden.
Nyasaba. The thing is that men are
men
scared.
are very scared.
Because
Anyways,
that's
Even
the
with an
pill.
injection.
That's the pill is picking up the mind.
Even when you're supposed to take a pill, you're all checking out. I know my uncle's like,
men and HIV
Immediately.
test. And if a
Bro.
man, you ask him, babe, let's go. Why? Mina nguli, mina
Exactly.
nguli.
Uyangibona, Grande, bro. Like, I'm
Nganjani?
okay.
I see your outside, not your interior.
No, but I'm going to be the one who's going to a doctor because I'm like, I'm not feeling well. We're not just because you see me becoming skinny, you think I'm not okay. No, I'm on a weight loss journey. I'm dieting right
Oh,
here.
diet I eat impilo.
How? I am dieting. Like, it happens, guys. Hence, we're speaking about that mind. Once you go to a doctor, you become corrupt. The next
Ay,
thing, your
sugar.
system are not working. So you're khohlela all of the Sunday.
Ah,
Like you're saying, it's in the mind. So
It is in
control
the
those
mind.
Irrational
When
fears.
the doctor now comes with your result, like, it's
It's
not
in
looking so
your
good. I
mind.
mean, you need to check your spine, you need to check your head. Ooh, your legs are swollen. Ooh, the next thing now, going now, you are bedridden. Yeah? Just like that. One consultation,
drama.
350.
But have you seen how dramatic from flu? A person. Nkosi yami, umo when he had flu.
Bro.
But I tell you what, my uncle, and he's gonna kill me after this one. My uncle, when he has flu, like you has mama and flu, and hey baby, gosh,
No, like really, more when he had flu.
he literally becomes a baby. And I'm like, oh
you
my
and I-
god.
my
You sitting
voice.
here like,
No, it was only my voice, but I could walk.
No.
I can't stay on bed because I
It was only your
flew.
voice, but the way you were like,
Yeah.
and you're like,
I came here.
I was very shocked.
I came here because my voice
Wena.
was not waking, not my legs. Because if I went to a doctor, all of a sudden I'm bedridden because I flew.
And then when Mama Pega my video call from a range show, they'll never believe that you were out here in the couch, busy sleeping, behaving like a baby.
I wish our social media manager could have just the guy who does our social media. I wish he could have taken videos when Mo was sick here. Mo was acting like the world is ending. He's dying. It's not only his voice.
Or just go
Karen
to
Kev
a
mixture here,
doctor.
like he's dying. Guys.
We don't drink medicine when we are sick. God will heal us. Word of God. And then Manela coming say, today is TC Rent Day. The revolution will be televised.
It will. A Mandela. Okay?
Right time, wrong day. That is the people are broke. And now you are renting here. And then Hector saying, Banele, even if she's okay, TK said you can't just go to a doctor, Carol not sick. And then Banele say, unless she's beautiful. Oh. And then TK say, Banele, even if she's beautiful, are you willing to lose 650 for nothing? And you will be able to tell her she's beautiful and you like her. You paid
The guababa will get you before
650.
you even leave there. The
You paid
guababa.
650 just to go to the doctor and tell her how you're beautiful. I like you. Yeah. Heal my soul.
Hey, God took
Heal
it.
my
Hey,
heart.
uNkulunkulu wathatha isikhathi sakhe wena kahle.
And then Radzelane is saying, everybody, how do we get breast cancer without breasts?
Can you guys do your research? Like seriously, guys do also
Breast
get breast
cancer.
cancer.
No, they do.
They do.
Mo,
That's the
Mo,
sad
you're
part because you
disappointing
guys are always negative. You don't
Mo,
also do
you
your
are
research. Guys also
disappointing
get
me.
breast cancer.
I'm never
Mo,
even gonna
you are
go to that point of
you are
researching.
disappointing.
Do men get breast cancer? I mean,
Yes.
imagine getting that into
Men,
my
you
search
I
history.
swear you are disappointing me, my
You'll
friend.
never get that in my
You're
search history.
disappointing me, my friend.
Yeah, we deal with serious sicknesses. I don't play like breast cancer. A man, a whole man with a breast cancer. Hey, Tokotela, my breast is painful. My other breast. Then they have to cut your breast. How do you cut a man's breast?
How?
Because I get it, some of the women, the cancer goes to a point whereby it has to be, is it amputated?
It's not amputated.
It's not amputated.
They
But
cut it
yeah.
off.
They remove the
cut
basically
off.
what
They
gets
remove
with the
the
tissue.
Yeah. So
And the tumor and the tissue.
they
yes.
remove. So what are you gonna remove on men?
You also have like a bit of some
Have you
tissue
ever-
cells
have
there.
you ever had a
Why do you think
man-
some men gain weight and they
I
end up having
never.
boobs? What thing you push up, bra?
I never.
Wow.
That's why it's pushing bees. Avoid such things. Now you have to be told you have to test for breast cancer. But anyway, 19 minutes past 9, man. It's been 3 hours of fun and obviously, man, informative
Never-ending conversation,
Yeah, man, right here on the Vooka Breakfast Show. It is a Thursday morning and tomorrow, same time, same place right here, man. It is a Friday. Starting off with your Friday mode just to kick off your weekend ahead. What are you looking for on this weekend? It's a conversation we're going to have this Friday, which is tomorrow. So thank you so much for being with us until the end of the show. We're gonna see you tomorrow. From me, Muketi Maiman, aka Max and Max for maximum temperature, the son of Mother Nature. Generator. Of course, I'm not going to take any pills when I'm sick. God will heal me. Signing out.
Nkosiami, you know what? Mo has become the resident comedian here. But of course, you know what? It has been a wonderful, wonderful time with you guys. And, you know, I've enjoyed this Thirsty Thursday and this Throwback Thursday with you, the Vooka Nation. And I am TC Gamazibuga Shabalala, the Prime Cut Creative and your positivity dose of the day. Umshengu omuhle uma muelasi idak dini lasetepi song. I am saying to you, ngizonibona tomorrow on that fantastic Friday. Mwah.
And from me, Afri also known as Miss Berry Blaze, what's the darker the berry, the sweeter than Dunton. Nandi Mamyama, Mam Shopilek Tekatekan, but Marloka from Manameta, Komakashe. It's song one number nine.